many lies to be known about people. Gotta reach them, see it right now.
USA, USA.
USA.
We love our country. We love our country, don't we? It's amazing. And it's a great country, but we have to take it back because our country's not feeling so well nowadays, and we're going to bring it back, and we're going to make it healthy and beautiful and better than ever. And it's really, this is some crowd, and you can duplicate the crowd outside. So if anybody would like to give up your seat, that would be okay. No? Let's have a good time. Thank you very much, everybody.
Want to get it off your chest? You're in the right place. They accuse this show of being run by boobs. Well, let me tell you about these boobs. We're real and we're spectacular. Want politics and fun sprinkled with a lot of laughs? Heard in every state in the Union and 770 cities around the world. We just finished 15 years of broadcast excellence. Now in our 16th year, the Dave Weinbaum Show is streaming live all over the world. Like R.F. Kennedy, that's Robert Fitzgerald Kennedy, Tulsi Gabbard's experiences have forced her into leaving the Democrat Party and side with Donald Trump. Like RFK and several other GOP conversions from the Dem Party, they have realized that the Democratic Party, especially in the Kamala Biden era, has become a festering Venezuela-type government where agencies like the IRS, FBI, DOJ, Intel, MSM, and others have turned on people who dare disagree with Kamala and Joe. Shortly after RFK linked up with Trump, as former liberal Elon Musk, the epitome of punishment suffered by these people from these government agencies has been terrifyingly egregious. This culminated in an assassination attempt on Donald Trump on July 13th. Yes, indications and evidence rise above benign neglect into an intentional murder attempt. Honored journalists like Matt Taibbi, Catherine Heritage from CBS, home of Walter Cronkite, were hounded by the FBI, the IRS, CBS, for being whistleblowers on what Biden and Kamala forced agencies to do with their lives, their jobs, their finances, and reputations. Tulsi Gabbard, honored 20-year warrior and congressman, had the audacity to speak up against Kamala, resulting in a designation as a special terrorist. Body searched for Tulsi and her husband on planes, sometimes twice. Electronic devices like phones confiscated. You know, things are ugly. Trump passed on going after Hillary in 2016. The Democrats' response is evidence. It's a waste of time trying to reason with them. We are at war with them, and their quest for permanent power and avoiding criminal responsibility.
My husband and I were married almost 10 years ago. We wanted to start a family. We were very excited about it. Unfortunately, it was very difficult. We were not successful in trying to get pregnant. For us, IVF seemed to be the only option and the last resort. As you know, it's a pretty difficult process. It's very, very expensive. Yeah. I was in Congress at the time, traveling. I would carry the medicine that I had to administer shots to myself sometimes in an airport bathroom. And ultimately, the most difficult part was every time going to the doctor for another transfer and hoping that it would result in a positive pregnancy test, and then being heartbroken over and over every time that test came back negative.
Okay, well, we're here, and my wife is a minute early, and she's looking good. I saw her dressed in a black outfit today, and I thought it was beautiful, and I said, you look great in that, and then she comes in this very colorful dress, which is also nice, but tell us the reason why you didn't wear the original dress.
I don't think we need to go into that. We
got more important
things to cover this morning.
People want to know about you, And you got your 3 things today.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. You want to read those?
On track.
You want to read those or? No, never mind. We are so busy today. It's going to be incredible. And you forget little things. I forget to run down the things, write down the things about who's on the show. I might not have enough room to write all this down because let me see if I can figure this out. We have John Jeffrey Bradshaw with the Justice Report. Not that there is any justice anymore here. Rabbi Moshe with the Israeli Report. There's significant news coming out of this, and it has to do with Biden and Kamala and their seeming demands that Israel somehow is responsible for the murder of its own hostages, including an American hostage. Can you believe that? All right. A gal named Jody and Joe Dalton will be talking about upcoming events for the Rala Life Group, and that's Joe Dalton's event on Saturday, the Walk for Life, and we're going to be talking about the third Amendment here, and what that means to everybody, and what is the truth about them, and what is maybe not so true. And we got a special guest. We've got Sarah Steelman, former treasurer of Missouri, and a run for the governor of the state of Missouri, once considered to be presidential material as the first woman to be president. Good friends with Bibi Netanyahu, of all things. And last but not least, we got lots of news about Jeff Zink and what's going on in Arizona and all the other states. And it's a 1-6 committee. He is like the best. I'll tell you what, I think as Zink goes, so goes the country, personally. That's what I've seemed to have come up with. Okay, we've got lots of stuff going on. Anybody watch the game last night? God, I had to go to bed. I was so pissed off. And it missed by a toe. They missed by, and it was so, I mean, there could have been air between that toe and that line. I just saw that this morning. And what do you think about this, sports guy?
Football is literally a game of inches, and that one may have been centimeters for all we know. It was close.
Yeah.
Very close. Now, what's interesting is they did a rule change years ago, which was initially if a wide receiver was trying to get both feet in and they were pushed out, if their referee said, hey, I can logically conclude that he would have got both feet in if he hadn't been pushed out, I can rule it a catch.
Yeah, really?
Which would have then you could pretty much say, well, he's that close to having the second foot in without being pushed, he's in for a touchdown. They changed the rule a few years ago now where if you're pushed out, you're out. It doesn't matter. If you don't get both feet in, you don't get both feet in. So that actually worked in the Chiefs' favor, that rule change from a few years ago.
Yeah, all right. Well, they had some changes in the rules that kept making penalties apparent for Baltimore. Why? Yeah. I mean, all of a sudden they all get called for these offsides and or whatever it was, illegal
legal motion,
legal motion, and that stuff, and it was terrible.
Well, rule changes on the kickoff. It was weird because it used to be as soon as the ball was kicked off, the other team would sprint down the field. Now the other team has to wait until one of the opposing players touches the ball, and then they can start running at him.
Geez, that's
from
weird.
A closer distance.
I guess it's better.
Well,
they're
trying to cut down on injuries.
Listen, that, and they're also trying to save the kickoff.
Right.
So you see some action. Otherwise, it's a waste of time. Yep. And this is not a waste of time because I see a person right there who we're going to be talking to next. This man is he's 256 years old, way before football started, by the way. I don't even know if golf started yet, but anyways, he is he's a guy that experienced the beginnings of this country way back in the 1770s. Used to hang out with George Washington and who else? Thomas Jefferson, Ben Franklin, in Ye Old Tavern in Virginia. Pick up pioneer women, and he usually wears a tinfoil hat just to keep all that knowledge and wisdom inside of him. But now he's out there. He's ready to share it. Please welcome all the way from Rolla, Missouri, now in Iberia, in Missouri, John Jeffrey Bradshaw. There you go. Let me just honor you with this. Whoops, it's up. See, it's our justice system, and it's upside down.
Our justice system is seriously skewed.
Yeah, and in the original, right here.
Oh, yeah.
I thought, you get a kick out of something like that, don't you? It's like you ought to go in a museum somewhere.
I get a kick out of you. You surprise me just about every Friday.
Well, that's good. I mean, it's how many years you've been doing this?
I think it's 13 for me, but I don't know that for a fact.
Yeah, I think it's about right. I think it's for sure. And always the opening act when the rabbi can't do it and doesn't complain at all when the rabbi has to go first because of the change in times in the Sabbath in Israel. So what's on your mind?
Oh, Dave, this has been such a disastrous week. It's hard to put your finger on something. Let's start with Kamala Harris. Might as well get the disgusting out of the way first. She has a September 10th debate with Donald J. Trump.
Yeah.
And I know you follow this stuff, Dave. They've been kicking this football back and forth about muting the mics and whether there's going to be an audience. And, just blah, 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 blah. Well, Donald Trump said early on, I will debate you anytime, anywhere.
Right.
Really doesn't matter because I'm going to steamroll you in any case. Well, her latest was about muting microphones.
Yeah.
And I got a kick out of that because, that disgusting cackle that she's got when she laughs?
No, her?
Yeah. I've literally heard chickens that cluck better than that. She wanted to leave the mics open so that she could talk over Donald Trump and give that ridiculous cackle and throw words that mean nothing.
I'm talking now. That's what you'd say. I'm talking now. In other words,
well,
shut up.
She finally relented. Her staff has probably told her you're on the wrong side.
Well, they agreed to this already. They agreed to everything, and
Yeah.
now she wants to change it.
That's right.
What a shocker.
And you and I both know that she is scared to death of this debate, even if they give her the questions in advance, which I wouldn't put that past ABC.
Oh, no.
for a
Yeah,
moment.
probably. Oh, she's got that.
She doesn't have the mental acuity to even come up with responses knowing the questions.
Who's gonna funnel the answers? That's what I want to know.
I just wonder. We need to do a close up of her and see if she's got an earbud in there.
Yeah,
somebody
well.
whispering in her ear. That was just so ridiculous. It's like you're rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic.
Yeah.
She's going to sink. And this will be a debate that I watch. Now, I hate the woman, okay?
Yeah.
But I will watch this debate because I'm looking forward to Donald J. Trump just sinking her boat immediately.
Well, you can't just, you can't always just read the report. You got to look at the movements, the face, how they react to certain things, and that's
Absolutely.
all part of it.
It is, Dave, and I know
Yeah.
you watch this stuff, and so much of it disgusts me that I read the transcripts instead.
Yeah.
I can read
Yeah.
the transcripts a damn sight faster
Sure.
than the debate would be. And Joe Biden in particular, his voice makes me cringe, so I don't watch him. Thankfully, he's not on TV anymore. I guess they've got him hidden in the basement, eating oatmeal and sucking on a pacifier. Harris's policies, they've been pretty sketchy. They've been mighty slow to release any of it because
Yeah.
they are so radical. Nobody's going to want them. Well, her price controls policy, supposedly to keep folks from gouging at a corporate level, gouging on groceries, for instance. That thing had a short fuse and it blew up in her face in the worst sort of way. They did a little bit of polling and found out that nobody wants this.
Right.
What everybody wants is not price controls. They want an economy that's back on level ground again. They want inflation to go down. All of this will occur naturally under Donald J. Trump, no question about it. It'll take a while. Okay.
She doesn't know what she's talking about. And it's so obvious to anybody that knows anything about history, economies, and things like that. All right.
Yeah.
And she's ignorant. She's telling you things that will destroy the stock market. They'll destroy people in business, small businesses, people who buy houses. They're suddenly going to have to pay for a house that's going to go up because she gives them $25,000, and then they'll have to pay for the for the value of the house as it grows. They'll have to pay for taxes. That's crazy.
Yeah, unrealized capital gains was the most insane thing I have heard in a good long while. And those of us, you've got a brand new house, I've got an older house, but they are valuable. And me having to come up with the money to pay taxes on the increase of the value of that house.
That's killer.
Maybe I can come up with it, but it certainly wouldn't be something I'd want to have.
But to the average person in this country, even not so average, it's a killer. It'll just put you into bankruptcy.
Well, and it'll kill the real estate market.
Kill the real estate market and kill the whole country in terms of the leverage that our enemies will have against us. That is rising definitely and has risen under the Biden-Harris administration.
That is absolutely on target, Dave.
Thank you.
Now, we've got a debate between Walz and Vance coming up October the 1st on CBS. That's another one I'm going to watch because I got a feeling that Vance is going to steamroll Walz if the questions are pointed and relevant. Now, the networks come up with the questions, okay? And CBS is not known to be a right-wing organization. So a lot of these are going to be softball questions that don't really have any merit. But truthfully, in my opinion, humble though it is, if you turn J.D. Vance loose on Walz is going to look like a spanked school child.
Well, he might need a tampon. I mean, he'll just say, you know what, I don't feel so good right now. I need something.
Perhaps we should run off to the men's room and see if we can find one.
Exactly.
Say we had a Georgia school shooting. So I'm going to do a little Second Amendment on you here.
Yeah.
I'm at Gadsden Shooting Center. I am exercising my First Amendment right to have a conversation with you that is being broadcast. Thank God those rights are still there, although the current administration would suppress them if they could. I am exercising my Second Amendment right by attending the largest three-gun match in the state of Missouri. It's a hoot. Thank God that we have the Second Amendment to be able to do this. This is 130 very talented, very safe shooters who are here having a good time. I'm sure having a good time. But the Georgia school shooting, they're going to try to blame that, as they always do, on us responsible gun owners.
Sure.
We haven't done anything. But
why would they want to do that? Tell the folks out here, maybe there's a few that don't understand. Why are people trying to blame the guns?
Well, it's pretty easy. If you take a look at the history, the first thing that happens in a totalitarian regime is they gradually collect all the weapons. And once they have collected all the weapons, the populace is defenseless against anything that a regime chooses to do. Our founding fathers understood that.
Sure.
They had British troops that were occupying houses in the United States. And if the Brits had any choice about it, they would have taken all the weapons. They tried to. It didn't end up too well for them, I'm afraid. But this young man, Georgia school shooter, 14 years old, shot 2 teachers and 2 students.
4 students.
And
killed 4 students.
Pardon me?
He killed 4 students. Yeah, I guess it was 2 teachers, and you're right, and 2
students. Yeah, 4 people.
4 people, right?
And the kid has been arrested.
Yeah.
Usually they end up dead. The father's been arrested.
Yeah.
As the guardian of this minor child. But let's look at the more fundamental part of this thing. So our friends in Israel have armed guards and IDF forces in their schools.
That's right.
Why? Because there are Arab folks that would like to kill anybody that looks like they might be Israelis.
No, is that true?
Choice. This Georgia school was a no-gun, gun-free zone. Didn't stop the kid from carrying a gun in there. It would stop all of us who are reasonable individuals and obey the law. We'd see the sign and say, can't carry a gun in there. Didn't bother that kid. Now, From what I'm given to understand, that kid had some serious mental illness problems. And at least a year prior to this, when this child was 13 years old, he was already threatening to come in and wipe people out. Now, Did you see
the session between the father about a year ago and the sheriff's department? It was on tape, and the father saying, "Oh, that's horrible. Yes, we try to teach him everything about guns that are right, and blah blah blah." Then he goes out and buys him an AR-15 that the sheriff didn't know about. Okay, nobody knew about that. The FBI had an eye on this kid too.
Yeah.
And so,
doesn't this suggest to you that there was a serious failure in A, mental health, and B, law enforcement, C, parenting? I mean, come on.
It's a good thing they make the parents now responsible, especially if they do stuff like go out and buy your sick, mentally ill son, who has been talking about this since he was at least 13, that you don't give him a AR-15 and don't monitor it? Oh, come on.
Yeah, a serious lack of parenting here. And those of us who are responsible folks would never do that thing.
Yeah.
But you watch, the mainstream media, corporate media is going to try to blame it on us responsible gun owners.
Well, why?
And we have done nothing.
Why? We've been talking about this for years, about getting retired police people, retired military, joining up police offices with the schools so they can be right there all the time, just in case. That's what Israel does. Why couldn't we do that? There's a lot of things Israel does that we should do.
Indeed.
Yes.
TSA screening comes to mind. The Israelis don't stop that 90-year-old grandmother that wants to get on the plane. She's of no harm.
Right.
Of course, we do. We strip search her and send her to the men's room for a tampon. The Israelis don't do that.
Right.
They profile.
That's right.
Folks in our country say, "Oh my God, profiling is bad, bad, bad." No, profiling is simply common sense.
Yeah.
If you're walking across a parking lot and there's a couple of punks walking towards you that may or may not do you damage, aren't you going to be profiling them, Dave, in your mind?
In my mind,
these guys might be a threat.
They're dangerous until proven differently. That's a paranoid
right.
I'm a paranoid, okay? I kind of watch everything around me and keep my eye on it. And
understand, Dave, that it's not paranoia if the bastards are really after you, okay?
Well, I've been like that all my life. I can't blame it just on this. So, but it's...
Well, you and I share several traits.
Yeah.
But that Georgia school shooting was an absolute atrocity. And it happened because of a mentally ill kid and rules that school boards make that we can't put armed people in the school. Oh my God, it might harm the mental health of the students.
They can't make they won't. I say they can't, but they won't make the move to really fix the problem because it doesn't follow their politics.
Yes, they will not make the hard decisions. Our Congress is in the same boat. They refuse to make the hard decisions. They'll plaster over a bullet wound and it bleeds right on through it. It's just insane the way our country has become so politically correct and such a bunch of pansies. What's wrong with making a tough decision, Dave? You and I do it all the time. We accept the consequences and we go on.
And a tough it's not that tough of a decision. It's something that we know can really be effective and really save a lot of kids' lives.
That's right.
So
a school shooter is not going to go into a school knowing that there are armed individuals there that will take them out if they start doing something untoward.
And I think it's a good step that they arrested this father. That sends a message out to parents who might think, well, they're not culpable here. Of course they are. In a lot of cases, not all cases, but I'm sure in a lot of cases, they're. What about the what's that guy's name who tried the assassination of Trump? What about his parents? What do they know about it? That was the very next
thing I was going to talk about.
Oh well, let's talk about it.
Your
crooks.
Your intuitive segue scares me sometimes. Our Missouri's own Josh Hawley, who I have tremendous respect for, just released the other day a little diatribe that he discovered that Trump's security detail, who is supposed to be Secret Service, augmented by state police, augmented by local police, whose entire mandate is to protect this man, has released that, the Secret Service had a bunch of Homeland Security folks instead of Secret Service sworn folks that were protecting Trump, at least ostensibly. The training of this, though, is what got me, is that some of these folks got to watch an hour podcast or an hour of training for this thing, and then were turned loose on the scene. Wait a minute. You've got Secret Service folks that are quite expert at what they do. And the leader of the Secret Service, and I'll bet you a nickel as a result of mandates by the Biden administration, was shorthanded. So they filled this in with a bunch of clowns that got 1 hour of training. Didn't even bother to talk to the local cops. They were supposed to have multiple meetings prior to this thing to put the strategy out, lay out the game. And none of that happened. Now,
wait a minute. Was the same thing happening when they had to protect Jill and Joe Biden? That's my question.
Oh, yeah. Biden's wife got better security than Trump.
Yeah. She got preference over Trump. And I'm sure Biden did too. And so it's and you have to wonder, based on all the other lawfare things and all the other things I talk about, Tulsi Gabbard and all the Republicans, even John F. Kennedy, or not John F., Robert F. Kennedy Jr., not getting any support, not getting any protection like his uncle and his father needed at a certain time when they were murdered, not getting anything out of the Biden administration because they didn't like him for saying what he was saying. This stuff is got to be considered when you're looking at the Donald Trump assassination attempt.
It's a conspiracy. Now they're going to hide the evidence, of course, but this is a lack of security completely caused by political animus. The Biden administration doesn't like Trump. They haven't been able to do much to him legally. They've tried to sully his name. They've tried to bankrupt him. They've done everything in their power. Well, let's just assassinate the guy. And frankly, I think this is an inside job. You'll never be able to talk me out of that thought.
Well, I'm
because
on your.
there's too much evidence that, circumstantial though it may be, that points towards a conspiracy of the executive branch to assassinate a political rival. This sounds like Cuba. This sounds like Venezuela.
Sure.
This sounds like Joe Stalin. Have we really degenerated into this? I saw you looking at the clock, Dave.
How do you know I'm looking at the clock? You're too smart for me. Well, I have to check on it, okay? You can't believe how stacked I am this show.
I know.
So
I love being on
at 9, in about 4 minutes, I got to go to commercial. Otherwise, I'll have no commercials because I've got such a busy show. It is incredible.
Brother,
right?
I've got a parting shot for you.
Okay.
And Trump and
don't
Elon
hurt me.
Musk apparently are pretty like-minded individuals, and they
Yes.
have been having some conversations,
Yes.
probably way more than what we know about. And Elon Musk, pretty efficient guy. He runs a tight ship in his companies. Elon Musk has suggested that an efficiency commission be commissioned in the Trump regime that's coming up to eliminate unsensible spending. That was a quote. If you look at our federal government, and not so much at the state level, but the federal level for sure, we throw money at things, incredible piles of money, and get very little back for it. The efficiency is just very nearly zero, maybe 1 or 2%. And it's been that way for decades in the federal government. Let's take a look at Joe Biden's Build Back Better. There was a big sack of money thrown at that thing, and we haven't seen any results. I don't see any.
Well, it's gone the wrong way. It's upside down.
Well, they threw it to their political benefactors. Okay, that's who
well,
makes
that
out
and maybe themselves too.
And Joe Public, like you and me, don't see any tangible result as a result of tremendous piles of money, of our tax money, being thrown to these folks as political payback. That's plain old corruption. And I think Elon Musk heading a committee, and you can bet he isn't going to have any rhinos on there. He's going to have some serious dogs on that.
Yeah, and all three. Look at this: RFK, Musk, and Gabbard. They're all liberals turned by their own party out, and now they're in the hold of being conservative, like if not totally conservative, and understanding how good Donald Trump was for this country and what he can do and has done before.
All three of them recognize the facts, Dave. They can see that handwriting on the wall.
Yeah, and they want to help him. They want to help him.
Yeah, I want to help him. I want to help.
So do I.
I want to go back to the constitutional representative republic we were intended to be, not this Marxist sleaze that we've got. And they're so sleazy they don't even bother to hide it anymore, Dave. We've been so conditioned we're supposed to just accept whatever scraps they throw to us. Well, that's the end of mine today.
Well, you've done great, man, and you kept me on time. I got a minute or so to spare. So I want to thank you, and good luck out in your tournament there in Iberia. And everybody thank my friend, John Jeffrey Bradshaw. Thanks, buddy. Okay, he's great. He's a great guy, too. All right, can we squeeze something in before the commercials? Let's do another clip. We got 2 of them, right?
Yeah, we did 1 and 2.
So let's do 3 and 4, and then right to commercial. Let's do
Some of your opponents, your political opponents, are saying that you want to ban IVF. While it didn't work for us, it's worked for a lot of families. And I just know that there are women and couples in this crowd, or those who are watching here tonight, who may be going through this same struggle and are concerned about being able to have this option, either because they might not be able to afford it, or they're concerned that it just may not be available. And I'd love for you to talk to them about how they should feel.
Well, thank you very much, Chelsea. And I didn't know about your situation. And it's tough stuff, right? Tough. Life is pretty tough. It can be beautiful, but it can be difficult. we are doing something with IVF, because IVF, as you know from friends and people you know, it's really worked out very well for a lot of people. It gave them a child when they would not have had a child. And I told my people I wanted to look at this a couple of weeks ago. And as you know, we have no taxes on a thing called tips. You know that? And I said, tell me. We did three things. We did that, and we did no tax for seniors on Social Security benefits. We want to have that. And I've been seeing a lot of IVF, and I kept hearing that I'm against it, and I'm actually very much for it. In fact, in Alabama, where a judge ruled against it, and I countered the judge and came out with a very strong statement for it. And the Alabama...
You were very quick in your response to that.
I was, but they were too. They were amazing. The legislature approved virtually my statement.
Your home is your castle. You don't need unwanted hassle. Don't let those creatures move in to stay. Let us protect your investments. That's what we're all about. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day. Plank is locally owned and family operated right here in Rolla, a Google preferred business. Our customer service and your satisfaction is our number one goal. So call Plank today at 368-3333. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
Honey, what are you doing?
What does it look like I'm doing?
It looks like you're filling up a swimming pool.
Yep, I'm filling up a swimming pool.
In our living room?
How else am I going to watch the game and stay cool?
If your AC is on the fritz, call Hartley's Climate Control. Hartley's is the area's best in HVAC repairs, installs, and maintenance. Knowledgeable, honest, and dependable. Serving Rolla and the surrounding areas for commercial or residential needs. Hartley's Climate Control. Community born, community raised, community serving.
Call Hartley's Climate Control today at 573-368-3163.
Never be too coy to tell your friends and family about Koi Sushi and Hibachi. Celebrate the best Chinese-Japanese restaurant in the Midwest. Call 573-426-5551 to make a reservation or order takeout. Locally owned, 1808 North Bishop, Rolla, Missouri.
We can sum up McDonald's new crispy chicken sandwich in one word. Crispy, but also juicy and tender. Okay, it's crispy, juicy, tender, all one word. But then, also pickle. Oh, and potato bun, which is two words. Okay, we can't sum up our new crispy chicken sandwich in one word, so you'll just have to try it to understand it. Order ahead on the McDonald's app at participating McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Merrill's Quarry and Asphalt, 40 years serving cities, counties, and everyday businesses with driveways for people who live and work in our little piece of heaven right smack dab in the middle of America. Call 573-578-9101 for your free estimate of rocking, rolling, paving, driveways, sealing, and striping, too. That's 573-578-9101 for your free estimate.
Your home is your castle. You don't need unwanted hassle. Don't let those creatures move in to stay. Let us protect your investments. That's what we're all about. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day. Plank is locally owned and family operated right here in Rolla, a Google preferred business. Our customer service and your satisfaction is our number one goal. So call Plank today at 368-3333. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
At your locally owned Price Chopper, our standards are high because we know yours are. See for yourself what an incredible fresh selection of grocery items we have in store. Talk to our expert meat associates about what you're looking for. They're happy to meet any special requests like custom cuts, or see our expert produce associates on how to pick out the best fruits and vegetables. Quality in the deli means fresh, full flavor, and always delicious. If you're craving fresh baked goodness, we have that too. You can expect the best selection and the best value while interacting with our friendly and knowledgeable employees. You can find what you're looking for fast and easily at the best prices at Price Chopper Fresh Savings every day.
Gotta reach 'em, sit 'em right down.
A-Car Real Estate, where experience matters. 532 million sold since 2003, the number one sales volume in Phelps County. As a client for decades, I can say they are the best in mid-Missouri. Call 573-368-7355. That's 573-368-7355 for the best real estate experience you'll ever have.
Gotta reach 'em, sit 'em right down.
Insurance going up like crazy? Daniel and Henry Insurance is one of the largest private insurance companies in the world. Richard Boyette, 314-444-5011. He's my guy at Daniel and Henry for 10 years. Business or personal, call Richard at 314-444-5011. He's the best.
At Town & Country Bank, we've got all the perks of a national bank, like online banking, quick loan approval, and you can deposit your check from your phone. But that's not why our customers love us. They love us because we still offer hometown customer service. Stop by one of our 2 Rolla locations and let our friendly team remind you how special hometown banking can be. We're locally owned and will take the time to understand your needs. Smart, friendly solutions. Town & Country Bank. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
All right, we're back, and the rabbi ain't here yet.
Not yet.
Okay, well, I don't know if you want to send him another link, but I got plenty of stuff to talk about. My goodness. So we'll, I don't know his Israeli phone number, though, but we can link him up, that's for sure. So, yeah, he's got a link, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Huh?
I resent it a little while ago, plus I sent it yesterday morning after we said it, so yeah.
All right. Well, you've got a Brazil judge bans Musk free speech forever. He bans X. All right. And this is like what Kamala thought this was a good idea. If she don't like what you say, she's going to bury you. If you're a whistleblower, let's say trying to get out the Hunter Biden story, the laptop, like Catherine Heritage did on CBS, you will get fired. You'll get all of your notes, all of your files stolen by CBS. Think about that. The house of Walter Cronkite. Walter Cronkite, the most trusted man in news, look what his station has turned into. Crap. ABC. Crap. CNN, actually a little higher on the crap list, but still crap. Okay. And what's the other one? NBC.
Yep.
NBC, incredible crap. It's sickening how one-sided they are. And you know, when they're all saying the same word at the same time, like weird, suddenly weird is on every show, on every channel of these well, I don't want to call them journalistic stations. They're not. They're political stations. And it's sad because they're not good at it either. It's not entertaining. I don't understand how you can watch it. I can't stand watching Fox News sometimes, and I like to check them with other people, but the others are so way out in the knowledge that I have. It's so boring to watch what they do. It's just the same thing all the time. So I don't know. Anyways, Brazil. That's what Kamala and her tampon lover, Timmy, want. In fact, Tampon Tim, he actually he's been to China 39 times. He got married in China, communist China. And they just had a thing about the governor of New York State, Hochul, who had Hochul or Kokel, I don't know. She has had a couple of Chinese spies working for her the whole time, or much of the time. Claims she didn't know they were spies. Sort of like Feinstein, who used to be a senator, and I believe she just passed away. God rest her soul. But she was also compromised by Chinese spies. And sometimes you have to worry about Mitch and his wife. His wife is Chinese. I don't know. I don't have any evidence of that. I just know her dad is was a big rich guy in China. But, there's no doubt about it that China spies on us. I mean, we spy on them too. But to have it that close in to our leaders is, who are especially the ones who are commenting on the crimes, so assumed crimes of one Donald Trump and all the ridiculous lawfare he has to go through. And you're listening to these people who have fed and consoled with Chinese spies about issues and things like that, where they're at. And my gosh, this is serious stuff. Okay, so Democrats have agreed with this Brazilian judge. Why? Because they admire people who go after political free speech. And that's what we're about to lose along with our First Amendment rights if we let them. So 6 hostages are murdered by Hamas within the last week or so. The people who did this must be destroyed. Must be destroyed. They've been doing. Why take hostages? Why do you take hostages? Because, Israel has a soft heart. They've always traded, maybe hundreds and thousands of prisoners, Palestinian prisoners, legitimate prisoners, for innocent hostages. Some of them kids, some of them, none of them are. They're civilians. However, these people, these hostages are civilian. One of whom was an American. And now it seems like Kamala and Biden are blaming the Jews. They're blaming the Jews because their own hostages are being murdered. They want them to settle. Well, you don't settle after something like that. And they never should have done it. And now they're admitting it. And I've said this for years and years to the rabbi. I don't know. And speaking of the rabbi, well, guess what? He's here. Thank God. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to stop my little rumble there, and I guess it's call when you want to Friday. All right. So let me introduce this young man looking at me. Wartime rabbi. He turns your contributions into buying necessities for the troops, and he delivers them personally. He's the second most powerful man in Israel, and you're looking at his book right now. And please buy that book. It's a great book. What's the name of the book, Rabbi?
Secrets of the Hebrew Bible.
Secrets of the Hebrew Bible. And where do you get it?
It's on your screen, the website, secretsofthehebrewbible.org. You can order it there.
All right. Well, he's calling from Jerusalem. So let's give him a round of applause for being late on the on the Dave Weinbaum show. So should I even ask what happened?
No, I'm not in Jerusalem. I'm in New Jersey.
Oh, so you can't tell time in New Jersey?
No,
you couldn't figure out the time? Huh?
In New Jersey, I'm right on time.
You know, that's not funny. You don't leave a good friend out hanging like me. Although I've learned to be, I have learned over the years, you just cover for them. And even if they don't show up, you've got plenty of stuff to do. But we need to talk. We need this talk.
I don't want to say that, sometimes I come on and you got commercials going on. You're not always on time.
Not the same. You know that.
A car real estate or a car insurance.
You want to do the commercials? You listen to the commercials?
Well, I'm sitting here waiting for you. That happens.
Who am I doing a commercial for right now?
Right now?
Yeah, right now. Whose book am I trying to sell? I don't know. Whose country am I trying to save with contributions to you to buy stuff for the troops?
I give up. Who?
Oh God! This is the rabbi is clueless, ladies and gentlemen, but I still love him. So poison ivy Hamas lovers, they're back, and they're doing their thing. What did they do? Take the summer off? Did they have a summer vacation or something?
Yeah. You don't protest in the summer. You have to go to the Jersey Shore.
So couldn't they go to the shore and convene there or something? I don't know. I don't understand it.
Yeah. I mean, they don't want to. They don't mind missing classes. They just don't want to interrupt vacation.
Okay, well, that's a great insight, Rabbi. So Biden's two statements about Hamas recently, they have a point. Number one, and after 6 hostages murdered, including one American citizen, he says Netanyahu is not doing enough. Now, how many Jews, how many Arabs, how many Muslims, how many Christians and innocents have been murdered because of this kind of stupidity?
Well, I don't know the number, but it's ridiculous that when you had this basketball player who was, in Russia, they put her in jail because some and Biden
Brittany
bends over backwards, does everything possible to get her out of jail, but meanwhile he points his finger at the leader of another country and blames him for not getting an American citizen out of Gaza, which of course is just placing the blame elsewhere when he should be accepting the blame himself.
Yeah, and didn't this really start when they had? Well, it started in 2005, but the recent under Joe Biden and Kamala, this escalated because of his relationship with Iran.
Yeah,
with giving them $6 billion for 5 hostages.
Right.
So, isn't that
there are so many moves, so many things that Biden. There's so many things that Biden. Am I interrupting you, Dave?
No, I got your buddy Pastor Pat is in here.
Okay.
I've got a whole. I'm telling you, I'm busy today. Okay, I'm squeezing them in left and right, buddy.
All right, just check.
And you call me late. Oh gosh.
What I was saying was before you interrupted me.
Oh, excuse me. Oh, late one. Oh my God, he's in New Jersey. He's got to be 8 minutes late. Oh my gosh.
What I was saying is that President Biden, there were many things he could have done that he didn't do it. I'm not sure what else Netanyahu could have done. I don't even know what he's referring to. Other than committing national suicide. I mean, what does he want Netanyahu to do?
They don't care about that. He's got followers now that hate him because of allowing Israel to maybe survive another day.
Right. I mean, Biden could have put more pressure on Qatar. He could have put pressure on Egypt.
Sure.
The United States has their biggest base outside of the United States in Qatar. And there's so many ways he could have exerted more pressure. And if Trump was there, there's no doubt there'd be a completely different outcome.
I don't think there would have been this. I don't think Iran was broken under Trump.
Yeah, they never would have had.
They never would have had it.
Finance.
And Trump would not have allowed it.
Right.
Never.
They wouldn't have been able to. He was bankrupting them, and
exactly.
Terror requires money. It requires money, and there's no way they could have done.
Now, a monsoon kills more in India in the past decades. Mm-hmm. It's like a record. Israel should befriend them. Keep talking about India as a substitute, not a substitute, but an addition to people that they can get close to that will help them. So you help them, and they'll help you. And maybe they're not the most. They don't have the most weapons in the world, but they got a lot of high tech stuff. Mm-hmm. They're very smart, sort of like Israel.
Yeah, and they also have a lot of curry.
You can eat that stuff. Yeah. It's almost like Chinese food. Now I got to put up with your phone.
We can curry favor with them.
Yeah, curry favor. That's very good. That's very yeah. Gosh, I don't have a curry comment. I said I don't have curry comments. They're a little slower than curry. Anyways, the Pope is going to an Islamic Bali, Jakarta, an Islamic, almost exclusively Islamic country worldwide, largest population ever of Islam on earth, after telling the world what a mortal sin it is to not help illegal aliens. Now, I have put my reservation down as an illegal alien to go into the Vatican and have myself a unit. Just one unit, not a big deal. I will demand kosher food, even though I don't keep kosher, but I'll demand the kosher food. I will want an upper level one that faces Israel and the Mediterranean Sea, and I will expect that to get done. What do you think is going to happen?
I'll support you in that.
How soon will I be dead?
Well, before you get the food, probably.
Yeah, before I get the food. So the Pope. Now I got to stop in about maybe about 4 or 5 minutes. Okay, because I've got people in here. See, I told you I had a squishy show, a squeezed show. So there seems to be there was stuff out in the news that somehow Dermer, our friend Ron Dermer, the second most important man other than yourself in Israel, and Bibi, and apparently there is not any difference between what they both want. They both want to stay in Philadelphia corridor. Yeah, and because that's the connection between Gaza and Egypt, and it's been used to put weapons of a lot of destruction inside of Gaza, so Hamas can use them.
They found tunnels. The Philadelphia corridor is the corridor on the Egyptian border, and they found tunnels large enough to fit trucks through. Yeah, and that is the way Hamas brought in rockets. Hamas has more rockets than many European countries. I mean, the amount of weapons that they smuggle in. And Bibi was on national TV in Israel, and he brought in maps, and he was explaining to people how important it is that we retain control over the Philadelphia corridor. Nothing to do with Philadelphia. That's Rocky Balboa. But this is the Philadelphia corridor.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah, and it's still amazing to me that those who hate Netanyahu, they can't understand it because they're so blinded by their hate for Netanyahu. They keep saying, we don't need the Philadelphia corridor. I mean, that's like saying, we don't need a border with Mexico and no one's going to come in. It's like, it's just insane that people are under this illusion.
Well, and then those reasonings are that you have to stay there and fix the problem before you move out, and may never move out. They can't be trusted. They've had 20 years roughly to have this thing all to themselves, and all they did was build tunnels and fire every couple of years at Israel, and then Israel would mow the lawn, as you used to say, and they'd send a few hostages or send a few prisoners back, and everybody would be happy, especially Gaza, because they got a lot of money, and Hamas got a lot of money from everybody. And really that was a mistake, and they're now saying that, by the way. That was a mistake.
But what is amazing is that you have enormous amounts of Israelis who are saying, we want the hostages back at all costs, including giving up, the Philadelphia corridor back to Hamas, which essentially would mean that Sinwar would remain in power. He's going to rearm, and we're going to be back to where we are.
And they will be back soon, too. Yeah.
It is just
no. You can't do it. You can't do it. Don't let them do it. You're the second or third most important man in Israel. You can't let them do that. Don't let them go back to that again. That's my advice to you. Other than that, Rabbi rants, Ben and Jerry scoops. You got any? Quick.
No.
Putting pressure on. All right. Other than DaveWeinbaum.net, where can people find and buy your book and contribute?
The book, they can go to secretsofthehebrew.org. If they want to contribute, go to our website, israelalliance.org, or our Facebook page, facebook.com/Israel Alliance. We'd love to hear from you.
You know what the problem with sponges is?
No.
They're too self-absorbed. Ladies and gentlemen, my friend, Rabbi Moshe Rothchild, what?
I was going to say, I read a book this week. It was called The Best Way to Wash Your Pig.
Yeah.
You read it? It wasn't bad, but I think it was a lot of hogwash.
Are you allowed to say that, being kosher?
Yeah.
All right.
All right, guys.
Yeah, I'll look forward to next week too.
Yeah, maybe you'll be on time next week.
Get off my phone. All right. Have a great weekend. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Okay. That's sort of like in church with Pastor Pat. I've got now Pastor Pat, and your name is Jody. Is that correct?
It is. It is.
All right. And you wanted to talk about the Amendment 3, is it?
It is Amendment 3.
Yeah, and I got a little thing in front of you there.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, I've seen that.
Did you want to sit here, Pastor Pat?
Oh, that's fine.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, Jody, introduce yourself. Why are you an expert on this?
Well, I honestly am not sure that I would call myself an expert, but I have studied, and I have been involved at the Capitol. My name's Jody Widhelm. I live in Jefferson City. I have a ministry called Jody Grace Ministries, and I have been involved at the Capitol following legislation and different things for the last handful of years. And of course, we've been...
Wait a minute. So now I'm going to be out-pastored again. Here it is. Pastor, minister, pastor's son. Oh my gosh, here it is. And me, a little
You're
Jew.
surrounded.
Oh my gosh, I'm surrounded. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt.
You're fine.
No,
You're
I'm not.
fine.
I'm not that sorry.
Yes. Anyway, I have followed a lot of legislation. Obviously, this topic for the last few years, especially as we've known that this has been coming since Roe was overturned.
Yeah.
And we would hope.
How did we know this would happen?
How did we know?
Yeah, seriously.
Of course we knew, because now it's back in the hands of the states, which I'm very happy about.
Well, that
it's back
was
in
the whole
hands
idea,
of the states, right? And so we knew it was coming.
But we were surprised by the actual legislation that is being pushed by the by people who have different ideas than most people. right?
Well, I'm not surprised. I wish I could say I was surprised. I'm not surprised. I think
I'm a little
this
shocked.
is what lots of people who haven't been following, yes, they're surprised.
Okay.
I think they feel surprised because most of them don't follow as closely as
Right.
I do. So yeah, I think the general public is a little surprised. And I think that they'll be more surprised when they learn what this actually is, because the truth is it's not what, it's even more than what is being talked about. It's being
Give us
talked
examples of what the problems are.
Well, I want to speak to two, and I think it's two examples that, that's Missouri Right to Life's information. It's great information. It's all accurate. It's good. It's still not the complete picture. So I'm going to talk about a couple of things that doesn't speak to. One of the huge problems with this is that it encompasses more than abortion. We're talking about more than abortion because of the way that this is written and the definitions that they have put forth here in the amendment. And I have the text of
they? Who is they that wrote this?
They that wrote this are the extreme left who brought it, really most of them from out of state through the initiative petition process. They paid the people that you probably saw at your Walmart or your grocery store in Jefferson City. They were standing out at the TJ Maxx. They brought them in by the van loads. From New Jersey, that group that was in Jefferson City. The
rabbi was just there.
In New Jersey?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
he blames that on being 8 minutes late.
We had petition gatherers paid $30 an hour, from out of state, flown in, taken care of. They pay all their expenses. And it's not people in Missouri necessarily who
Did they give them new accents? Seriously, because they don't talk the same way.
No, I mean, it was obvious that they weren't from Missouri.
Yeah, exactly.
You could, my son struck up conversation and, kind of got to know a few of these people. But they are people from out of state. It really is a top-down push across the nation. You're seeing this happen in several different states across the nation. And it's more than abortion. The title of this one particular amendment, this piece of language, is the right to reproductive freedom. It doesn't say right to an abortion. It doesn't say the Right to Abortion Act. This says the Right to Reproductive Freedom Initiative. And the second section of this says the government shall not deny or infringe upon a person's fundamental right to reproductive freedom, not to abortion, reproductive freedom, which is the right to make and carry out decisions about all matters, not just pregnancy, all matters relating.
Which could be referring to
anything that has to do
transgender,
anything that has to do with your reproductive organs, which includes transgender. It would include.
And where do the parents get to say so?
There are no parents say so in this language.
Okay,
and that's the horrendous problem.
Yeah,
that's a horrendous problem.
Any other problems?
It's an incredible affront to parental rights. Because of this definition. It's including but not limited to. So yes, it includes prenatal care. It includes childbirth, postpartum care. It includes a lot of things that I agree with.
And you can't sue the doctor.
That's the second point. You're ahead of me. You're ahead of me, Dave. How do you know this?
I don't know. I was looking at it this morning.
Who have you been talking to? Okay.
I came here early and I looked at it.
Yeah, so the second thing that I want to talk about, and honestly, even if you're a pro-abortion person, if you're a pro-choice person, I don't know my mom is pro-choice. She's a Democrat. She's pro-choice, and we have great discussions all the time.
Okay.
But I said, Mom, you can't vote no on this, because even if you think that a woman should be able to have an abortion, do you want that woman to be able to be harmed, seriously harmed, maybe even die at the hands of a doctor who possibly there was some negligence or some, mistreatment, and that doctor can't be held accountable? You can't take that doctor to court? Because if we pass this, that's what's going to happen. It's not only regarding abortion, but also, like I said, the gender issues. So when you take that lack of liability, they're giving the healthcare profession, and not only the healthcare profession, not only doctors, the language actually says any healthcare professional. So that could actually be a dentist. It could be a nurse. It could be an EMT. It could be any healthcare professional. It doesn't say an obstetrician, doesn't say a physician. It says any healthcare professional. And we're going to give them complete liability. They're going to have no liability if they harm anyone in regard to any and all matters of reproductive health. That honestly could be taken to mean that the entire OBGYN system.
Yeah.
You know, I'm getting ready to have that type of surgery next week, right? That's completely unrelated to abortion or having babies. I'm done with all that. But it is gynecological surgery.
Yeah.
So if this passes, it could be that my surgeon wouldn't be liable if there was some issue with my surgery next week and I needed to take that doctor or the hospital to task. That section also says, nor shall any person assisting a person in exercising their right to reproductive freedom be penalized, prosecuted, or otherwise subjected. And because we're talking about gender issues, this now means any person. That doesn't mean just healthcare professional even. It's any person assisting. So if my 12-year-old son goes to school and he starts talking with his friends and somebody convinces him that he needs to be a girl, and he goes and he talks to the school counselor, and this is actually happening. And the reason I know that it's happening is because I've sat in education hearings in Jefferson City. It's happening right here in Missouri. And we have these things pushing in already. And I know it beyond a shadow of a doubt because I've heard it and I've seen it with my own eyes. So if my son, who's 12, goes to school and he decides he's going to be a girl, but he knows I don't agree. First of all, under this, I, as a parent, would be delaying his right to make those decisions for himself. And so I would be then breaking this section of this language. And I could be held accountable because I would be delaying his right. Even if I said potentially, no, we're not going to do that because you're 12. You don't even know when you should go to bed, let alone if you should, be a girl or a boy. This is ridiculous. I would be delaying his right. And in this language, it says I can't do that because he has an autonomous right.
Where's Planned Parenthood on this?
Well, where do you think Planned Parenthood?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it seems like why didn't they understand? Why didn't they understand what was going to happen?
Oh, they do understand.
Well, why were they so upset about? Everybody was upset about not everybody. Most liberals were upset that the Supreme Court said this is not a federal issue; it's a state issue. Figure it out for yourselves. They were extremely openly pissed off. Now, all of a sudden, they're reaping in this evilness that they can adjust all these laws all over the country. So how do you explain that?
Well, I can't explain Planned Parenthood. I think they have issues. I don't think
they have issues, but they also had the ability to figure this out.
Well, it's those type of people. I mean, they're thrilled about this piece of language. So they're all praying that this passes.
Yeah.
I mean, all of that section of people want this to pass. Washington University, the people who are doing gender transition surgeries, the people who are pushing this. And there is a push. And let me tell you, there is a push even in Missouri this session in 2024. And an education hearing I sat in, there was a parents' rights bill on the table. In the midst of that discussion, of course, the Democrats didn't like it. There was a Democrat, Senator Doug Beck, I believe it was, out of St. Louis, who brought forth an amendment. His amendment was, this is what it said, and this is, I'm not even making this up or being dramatic about it, that if a child in school wanted to transition, wanted to be a different gender, and the parents were not affirming of that the school would be required to report the parents to law enforcement. Not DFS, not social services, not counseling, law enforcement. And then Greg Razor, who's a senator from Kansas City, offered up an amendment to that amendment that also, if that happened, that child would now be considered homeless.
Oh, God.
Now, that sounds really ridiculous. And we defeated that amendment, but by only one vote. Only one vote in the state of Missouri, because we had a Republican who crossed over and voted with the Democrats.
Oh.
So we defeated that, but by one vote. And so I'm just telling you that is the agenda. It is what they're wanting. And they would like to remove children from the homes of parents who are not affirming this.
All right, I got a few
ridiculousness.
messages related to this. Andrea Schrum. Great, Jody. I listened to her phone call last night. Very informative. And what else you got? Could you ask Jody if she knows of any bus groups from Missouri going to the Million Women Esther gathering in D.C. on October the 12th?
I don't know any people going in buses. I know a handful of people who are going, but they're flying.
Is this to object to what's going on?
No, it has nothing to do with what's. Well, it's just a ministry movement that's not related specifically to this.
All right. Any other? Planned Parenthood gives gender-altering drugs to minors. So is that true?
They do. Yes.
Okay, so you're fighting a big battle here.
We're all fighting a big battle. Right. So the goal is that we need to tell as many people as possible. And, most Republicans who would say they're pro-life are going to vote no. They were already going to vote no when they found out it was abortion. Right. But what we have to address are the swing voters who maybe think that this is just a very, non-consequential, if there is such a thing. If they think it's abortion with just some exceptions, or if they think it's early term abortion and they want that. So we need to let those voters know that that is not what this is. This is very, very liberal and very heinous. And the Democrats need to understand, the liability issues here, and that this is not just abortion. This is all matters of reproductive health, and that this is putting women and all patients at risk.
This is so sick. It is sick. Stunningly sick.
Yes.
And I don't know. I mean, here we go. The reflection of what we thought was a pretty good decision from the Supreme Court, and it's legally solid,
right?
And now it's being turned into something that is a nightmare.
What we needed was for our legislature to take action years ago to prevent this.
Do you know Joe Dalton?
I do not.
She's a good friend of Joe Dalton's. That's Pastor Pat sitting over there, and Joe Dalton is supposed to be here like now. All right. So
well, he may be out there, so I may need to.
Would you please go check that?
I'll check.
Okay. All right. He wants to talk about Saturday's event, which is, and he mentioned this, and I wasn't up on it. Yeah. So
Saturday's event in Ozark, or
no, here in Rolla, we have a Walk for Life.
Awesome, great.
Walk for Life, and there he is.
All right.
Hello.
Well, thank you so much.
I cheated on you with them. Let's put it that way. This is. Pregnancy Resource Center. This man is he's a lot of things. He's a fishmonger from St. Louis. He has saved thousands of babies and hundreds of families. Please welcome, along with Jody and Pastor Pat and my wife moving. Well, she's not moving out. She's just moving down. Yeah, she's going to stay over there because we're running out of room. But that's okay. We're having a party here, I guess. Anyways, please welcome Pregnancy Resource of Rolla, the head of it, Joe Dalton. Great to see you. Okay, now Jody just told us about this, but let's go over what's going to happen on Saturday first, okay?
Yep. So we're having our annual Walk for Life. It's the 17th annual Walk for Life. Want you to be a part of it. We want you to donate. Here you go. So it's a really cool event. It's going to be at Lions Club Park, and we have usually around 200 to 300 people there, all wearing the same T-shirt that says "I'm glad you were born," and you'll get that shirt if you come. But the important thing to remember is donating to this event, and that's what I'm really here today to ask you to do. Go to supportmyprc.com, click on the Walk for Life thing, and then click the Give button. When you click the Give button, you're going to see about 150 people populate. So we ask that you go there and find somebody you know or somebody you don't know and sponsor the event. Last year, we raised enough money to save 116 babies from abortion. It only cost about $1,000 for us to save a baby. It sounds harsh, but we know what our overhead is, and we know how many babies we saved last year. So it's just simple math. So 116 babies saved last year. We want you to be a part of it this year. So go to supportmyprc.com.
See, that didn't take long.
No. Are you gonna be there this year?
I'm thinking about it.
I need your finger there.
You hear about this?
Okay.
You know what I do?
No.
I'm kind of semi-famous here for this.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a McDonald's owner-operator, right? Uh-huh. And on Thursdays and Fridays, I've sort of like given a lot of the ownership to my son and my daughter-in-law, Erin and Brenna. And so, but I still continue to work on Thursdays and Fridays. I'm still intricately involved with how we're doing and stuff like that. I answer all the complaints that come in, some of the complaints. And I stand out there with a hair hat and a street jacket, straight jacket? No, straight. Well, I should be in a straight jacket. You know, one of these yellowish things that workers use, and a big red finger. And I direct traffic and drive-through. And it's really a gas. I've been doing this for a lot of years. Drive-through. I've been an expert in the drive-through since the 70s. So when I get out there, it's not just fun and games. I'm pulling people up so the next guy can order. I'm joking with them. They're joking with me. What do you got with that finger and all that stuff? And what's wrong with your hair? Because I wear this hair hat. And
you look like Guy Ferrari.
I say, let me ask you a question. Do you wash your hair? Women especially, well, of course I wash my hair. She says, I take off my hat. I says, I washed my hair this morning. I can't do a damn thing with it. And that's the kind of stuff I do in a drive-thru. And I tell them original jokes and stuff like that. And we have a lot of fun. Plus, they can see me. 95% of my customers come in at one exit. And they can all see me whether they go to the park and I'm waving at everybody and they're waving back. Most of the time they're using all their fingers, but not always. But it's fun. And we do very well at that particular store. Really good. The crew's good. Everything is positive about that store. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
Well, so the reason I brought it up, though, is that you bring that finger to the Walk for Life.
Yes, right. And I direct traffic for the Walk of Life. So nobody gets lost. Nobody gets run over by the cars, because there are cars out there sometimes. And people want to go out in the street and run. And, I finger them back.
There you go.
Can you say that on air?
So speaking of McDonald's, McDonald's is one of our corporate sponsors. Yeah. We have 30 corporate sponsors for this event. And because of that, because of the generosity, there's a lot of fun things to do at this event. So bring the whole family. The kids especially love this thing. We'll have snow cones, we'll have bounce houses, cotton candy, popcorn, anything you could imagine. The kids like face painting, stuff like that. But supportmyprc.com. The other thing I wanted to add to what you were talking about on Amendment 3, you did a great job, by the way. Thank you.
Yeah. Let's get a little applause for that. That was really a great segue into stuff and great segue into this
dude,
gentleman.
Yeah.
So
I like the air quotes. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Well, for the people not watching, they needed to hear that it was air quotes there when you said gentleman. But so Abby Johnson is a close friend of mine. Abby Johnson, for those of you who don't know, is one of the most infamous people in the pro-life movement. She was an abortion clinic director in Texas. And when she left the abortion clinic, finally, one day, she walked into the arms of 40 Days for Life. And basically, she came to our side of the iron fence. But Abby and I talk often. But she was talking about the transgender thing and Planned Parenthood are very well connected.
Oh, yeah.
If you look who's administering these drugs to these children, it's Planned Parenthood, nobody else. And Abby has talked about this for many years, but basically when they do an intake on a new client for like birth control pills, they put basically a quota on that client of how many abortions she's going to have before she turns 21. So they put a quota of 3 abortions on that woman, and then they have a little checkbox system, see if see if they achieve their goal or not. Well, so the abortion costs $500 to $800, so they know profit-wise they made $1,500 from her. It's all very cold and calculated. But somebody goes through transition, it's like $10,000 they get. Mm-hmm. So they don't care about these humans that they're destroying their lives. They care about money. I'm sure there's some Satan worshipship in there too. There's some evil stuff going on, but they'll get about $10,000 for transitioning that poor kid and destroying his life or her life, however you look at it.
Well, it's not just destroying his or her life. Mm-hmm. It's destroying women who are athletes who have to suffer through this. And this is now it's become a women-backed thing. I don't think men back this, do they? I mean, they can go either way. They don't care. Men don't care. But women, this affects women, girls that want to be athletes. Yeah. And they can't do this with men with all the testosterone still left.
Right. And so one thing about this amendment also in that regard is, in 2023, we passed two wonderful pieces of legislation, which I often can't say about in our legislation. But we passed the SAFE Act, which made it illegal to do the transition, the drugs or surgeries on our children under 18. And we passed the Save Women Sports Act. If this amendment passes, those two statutes will be tossed out. They will be repealed, along with a lot of other issues that we've already passed. And the voters don't know or understand that the things we've already put in place, they're going to be repealed if they have anything to do with reproductive health care.
All right. So give us a conclusion as to what you want us to do, us idiots out here, not us idiots, but our people that are conscious right now and listening to this. What should we do about this?
You should be talking to your pastors, your friends, your family, everybody who's of voting age that you know. And first of all, making sure they're registered to vote. Yeah. They have until October 9th to register and vote in the November 5th election. And they need to know how heinous this amendment is and that it would change our Constitution. And they can go to my website, jodygrace.com. There's all kinds of links to the original language. There's resources. There's, proof and video of a webinar that I'm doing every Thursday evening at 8:00. So you can share that webinar. And on the webinar, I get into all the details of every section. And of course, we don't have time for that today. But we need to register everybody that can vote. We need to register them to vote. And they need to know how dangerous this is for parents and all women and children because of how wide sweeping it is.
As Donald Trump said, you know what? We need babies in this country. We need babies. We need to reproduce. We need to have them grow up and get the rights that we're all accustomed to in this country. And I believe in that, and I believe in Joe, and I believe in what you're saying, Jody, and Pastor Pat, my wife. JP.
Well, the only reason we're not in a demographic winter right now is because of all the illegal aliens that are in our country.
Well, bingo.
But the reality is many countries are in a demographic winter, meaning that they don't have enough children.
Right.
And their success in the future is really at risk because of that. Elon Musk talks about this. A lot of people talk about this. And then you have the idiots on the other side, like Bill Gates, that think, we're overpopulated.
Yeah, right.
So it's a weird world. But just to add to you, what we need you to do is vote no.
That's right.
And make sure everybody votes no.
All right. Well, Joe, I have one more thing. Other than DaveWeinbaum.net, where can people find and contribute?
Go to supportmyprc.com, or come by the office. We love to give people tours.
Did you hear about the talented fish? Yeah, he was a piano tuner. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for this is a great segment, and I'm glad I got to fit in, and there's my next guest right there. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. You can
Thank
stay.
you,
You
Dave.
can leave. I don't care. It's just I gotta focus on my next guy and when I'm gonna do my next commercial. Okay.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, guys. Thank you. Thank you, Pastor Pat. You're right as usual. Thank you. That was a good segment. All right. This man is a lifetime conservative. He's the author of Rules for Defeating Radicals, and he is not only the Dave Weinbaum Show expert on pizza, but he's also the expert on Marxism. Please welcome, all the way from Missouri, Chris Adamo. Good morning, Chris. How are you?
Oh boy, it's been kind of crazy. I just realized, well, what was wrong trying to get my sound working, and so
Yeah.
I was afraid I was going to be deaf for a few minutes there, but it looks like I'm doing well now.
Listen, after the rabbi comes on 8 minutes late, and I'm squeezed in to have two interviews from about 10 o'clock to just now with two people I didn't know. I didn't know one of them. I tell you what, it's been a crazy morning, but we're getting a lot done.
Well, that's good. A lot needs done because I
Yeah.
tell you what, the left is on a rampage right now.
Yeah, well, and we were talking about Amendment 3. You know what that is?
Is that here in Missouri?
Yes.
And is that the pro-abortion amendment?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what we had the discussion with. So, what do you got for us today?
Well, just using Amendment 3 for an example,
Yeah.
What you're going to have, what you've been having in these other states, which side, the pro-life or the pro-abort side, which side has all the money? And that's how they're going to determine things if we're not careful, because they're going to blast us at the last minute with all of these media buys on all of this. You know, they come up with these tragic scenarios where this girl was going to go be Miss America and all this stuff, but
Yeah.
then they forced her to have a baby, and then she died in the process or something. I mean, you can come up with any melodramatic nonsense you want, and they're going to emotionally manipulate people if they could get away with it. We don't have the money, the media resources to do that, especially the last minute blitzkrieg that they have been conducting. And so, yeah, we tend to lose that. They completely portray the issue in totally bogus terms. And from that point forward, people have been emotionally stampeded, and it's very difficult to recuperate. That's how stuff like that happens.
Well, we have Planned Parenthood pretty much benefiting from all this, and I brought it up in the last segment that they were against the Supreme Court sending this back to the states, and now they're going to get rich off of this, or they think they are.
Yeah, well, that's the plan, and unfortunately, the people who should be speaking out on this, too many of them aren't. They're not speaking out strongly enough. I attended a church not too many years ago where the pastor flatly said, "Well, that's a political issue, and we don't talk about politics here."
Pregnancy is a political issue, not a religious issue.
Show me where anything in Scripture, from Genesis to Revelation, show me anything in Scripture that defines a difference between a moral issue and a political issue. According to this guy and others like him, in other words, the minute this moral issue gets into the political realm, Satan gets it. He gets to have it because we can't talk about it at that point. There's nothing in the Bible anywhere that says anything about we can't talk about political issues, number one. Number two, I'll show you the book of Esther, where you saw the first lobbyist, where she got very involved politically to save her people.
Yeah.
We can talk about Ezekiel. We can talk about John the Baptist. We can talk about Jesus Christ dealing with political issues of the day.
Sure.
And so it's a bogus statement, but it gets adopted and people run along with it, accepting it as a conventional wisdom or just a generally understood truth. And it's not. It's a lie from the pit.
Yeah.
And on that basis, our side hamstrings ourselves while the opposition runs rampant.
Now let's go to straight political stuff that I guess could be religious too. New York former aide of Governor Hochul, charged with being a Chinese spy. Her and her husband, a $1.5 million bail. What did Hochul know, and when did she know it? For goodness sakes!
And we saw the same thing in the Congress, the other end of the country. Eric Swalwell of California,
and Feinstein. Yeah, she had the same problem.
And these people know what's going on. They can't be that ignorant. I mean, if you and I, if we react to the sight of blood by fainting, that's just a human reaction. That's understandable. But if you're a medical doctor and you faint in the sight of blood, you should have known better. You should have known not to get into that realm. The same thing with these people. If it's just a commoner at the Walmart store that gets infiltrated with a Chinese spy, you can say, well, that they were out there trying to sell whatever Walmart sells. They didn't know any better. These people absolutely know. These people are absolutely aware of what's going on. What they didn't expect was to get caught at it.
Huh. So, okay. So what about do you think Hochul knew she was a Chinese spy?
I'm thinking that if she didn't, the amount of negligence on her part was beyond criminal. She needs to be held accountable. At a certain point, you're enabling things that you've sworn an oath not to enable, whether it was her devotion to all the DEI stuff or whether she chose a blind eye or whether she got paid off. I don't know what the answer is.
Well, she was very open to Donald Trump being served all these indictments in her state, which were clearly meant to upset the election, to make the election a fraud. So, I don't have a lot of mercy on her for having Chinese spies for years and years and years influencing her. So,
and let's talk about the nature of the charges on both sides, because the charges against Donald Trump have been totally fabricated, contrived. They're just a total invention for purely political reasons. Here we're talking about international espionage, and this right here, and if she's collaborating with that in any way, she is guilty of treason. Remember what they used to do to spies back when we had justice in this country?
To kill them.
Well, how about those who collaborate with spies?
Well, okay. They are susceptible. Now you got the judge in the Trump case, and he's scheduled to jail Trump on, I believe it's the 18th of September. Is he going to actually do that? And what's going to be the reaction? Speculate as to what's going to be the reaction there.
Well, I'll tell you where we're at right now. Now, every presidential election since I can remember has gotten progressively a little worse and a little worse, where it's like this huge national upheaval with the intent of one side or the other taking the reins for the future. We hit a point, and I'm thinking personally, my guess, it was about 1984 when Walter Mondale ran against Reagan for re-election. We hit a point where we had obviously a pro-American president who had done great things for the economy and everything. And all of a sudden, we're getting this social justice leftist trying to run against him. It was at that point where that we weren't looking at two sides of the same coin of American patriotism with just different economic policies or things of this nature. We were looking at not just right versus left. We're looking at good versus evil.
Yeah.
It wasn't as blatant as it is now, but that's what
now,
you were seeing.
Mondale, was he a wild, crazy, progressive liberal?
By today's standards, no. By today's standards, he wasn't, but he was leading that way. I remember
it sort of got along. I mean, it wasn't great. I mean, look.
Well, the thing is,
they
our
tried
side
to
is always trying to get along.
They tried to assassinate Reagan too. I mean, it's who knows how that happened.
The difference with that John Hinckley with Reagan is John Hinckley was a crazy kid with an obsession for Jodie Foster, I believe, and somehow he was going to emulate a part in some movie and get her attention that way. So
was this guy Crooks was crazy, right?
Well,
Crooks.
yeah, he was, but Crooks was not the assassin, okay, or the would-be assassin.
Oh.
Let me just
is there a scoop for the Dave Weinbaum show right here?
No, this has actually been going around. Now pay attention. First of all, when when he was on the roof. You remember the fact that when he was on the roof,
yeah,
people are yelling to the Secret Service that there's a guy up there with a gun. Now, if you've got a president anywhere within a mile and you're saying there's a guy with a gun, everything should stop.
Everything shuts down. They if he's on stage, they get him the hell out of there. Or if he's getting ready to go on the stage, you say, Mr. President, you got to wait. We got a problem.
And none of that happened. Now, the first thing that they tried to do was blame it all on incompetence, which if there was incompetence, and there was, we could go into all that, but the incompetence still does not explain all the things that happened.
That's right.
The amount of pieces that had to be set in place for that kid to be up there with a gun at that point it's ridiculous. It's as ridiculous as saying that the voting just shut down randomly on in 2020 and just randomly came up with 99% of the people being counted in the interim for Biden. It just you hit a certain point where coincidences are not possible to that degree.
Yeah.
And I will tell you the other thing, you go back and do the ballistics on those bullets. They didn't come from the right angle. The person that got shot behind Trump, they were not down below him, which would have meant that the shot was coming from up higher. They were up above him, which meant that the shot was coming from below. And the vicinity of all three shots to each other, it wasn't coming from some crazy kid. It was coming from an expert marksman. Now, we know all of this. And just like we knew
I don't know that. Election, I don't know that for a fact.
I'll start sending you some
I don't even know how John F. Kennedy, what really happened there. And that's going to be very interesting if, in fact, that Robert F. Kennedy gets a position with the Trump administration and then has classified, to be used classified information and unclassifies the Kennedy assassinations, including his uncle and his father.
Well, just let's use that as an example. Then you have two things about that situation: that they knew it was Oswald instantly. Nothing to see here, right?
Yeah, right.
But the records were sealed.
When they killed him, when they murdered him,
4 days later, or
under
something?
Police guard, a mafia guy comes in and kills him.
And the records, nothing to see here. You're just being conspiratorial, Dave. But the records are sealed for 99 years. Now, if there's nothing to see here, why would you seal the records on a presidential assassination? So we know for a fact that they're hiding something. You say, I don't know exactly what they're hiding. I'm not sure that's true. I don't have the facts.
But did you believe way back in the late 60s, in the early 70s, that there was a conspiracy that just might be true? I didn't.
I was absolutely. I was, I was not willing to accept that at that point. Now, as certain facts come up, the first thing again being that when they sealed the records for 99 years, nothing to see here, but you can't look.
Yeah.
Okay. I can tie the operation of these people back to when you were saying we're all trying to get along. The point was that they were advancing their agenda while being able to keep up the facade, the bald-faced lie that they were trying to get along. Okay?
Yeah.
And again, taking it back to Mondale, they weren't trying to get along. They were trying to advance their agenda. And at the time, they could advance their agenda while looking like, well, we're still patriots. We just disagree on these economic issues. I've heard this phase we're in right now referred to as non-kinetic warfare.
Yeah.
Okay. In other words, we're fighting a war.
Yep.
We're fighting a war to defeat the enemy, but it's non-kinetic. And
what does that mean, non-kinetic?
It means we're not actually shooting guns and blowing things up.
Okay, I get it.
It's a psychological war.
Yeah.
Here's the thing about
non-kinetic we're at war. Warfare. You're saying we're in a civil war right now, aren't we?
We are. And
I agree.
A non-kinetic war only remains non-kinetic. Pay attention here. This is important. Pay attention, America.
I'm listening.
Not just you. I'm talking about talking about the listeners.
Just talking to me.
Non-kinetic war only
on.
remains non-kinetic as long as the aggressor thinks he can win that way.
Yeah.
Because the minute he can't win in a non-kinetic
here's the last sentence of two sentences of my monologue. We are at war with them, and they're quest for permanent power and avoiding criminal responsibility. So we are at war with them, even though it's not a shooting war yet.
Absolutely. And again, you can go back to Pearl Harbor. Their quest was to make sure that they attacked in an unprovoked attack. They killed off 2,000 Americans.
Yeah.
The things that they did, and their goal was to, as you say, escape accountability. The only way you can do that in a war.
Well, you say they. That
win.
was a whole country, another country, Japan. There's a little difference here, isn't there?
Sure. Well, it's different in the fact that they happen to be located in a different spot. But like Germany, their goal, if you ever read, there's a great book called Wounded Tiger about the Second World War from the perspective of the pilot who led the attack on Pearl Harbor, who, by the way, amazingly, after the war, believe it or not, became a Christian. But their perspective on Japan versus the rest of the world was no different. They had their exact parallel to the Aryanites in Germany, where they were going to be the dominant race,
right?
And all the inferior races needed to be conquered and essentially done away with.
So coming out of a country like Japan, which is rather small, and attacking a pretty big country like the United States, even though they were coming out of a depression at that time, sounds to me like a big chunk to take and not expect to get a response.
Well, and they were surprised. The whole world was surprised by the response. The problem that we had done at that point was pay attention here, America. This sounds like 2024. We had.
Uh-oh. Yo, Chris, you okay? I can't hear you. You have frozen, my friend. I hate when that happens. I hope he's okay. You just get on air and you go, I can't do that. No. All right, well.
No, it seems like usually the last few weeks has been us having internet issues, and it seems like now this week it's one of the guests.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, the rabbi can't tell what time it is in New Jersey.
Maybe his watch stopped. I don't know. All
right. So this is another crazy, wild day. And we'll just go back to talking about other stuff. By the way, I don't have any I got to get a commercial in. So let's do a commercial right now.
We can do that.
Hopefully he gets fixed. Send him another link, and we'll do that. Let's do our next commercial. Buy where my clients are.
Your home is your castle. You don't need unwanted hassle. Don't let those creatures move in to stay. Let us protect your investments. That's what we're all about. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
Plank is locally owned and family operated right here in Rolla, a Google preferred business. Our customer service and your satisfaction is our #1 goal. So call Plank today at 368-3333.
Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
With warmer temperatures right around the corner and allergies ramping up, now's the time to get those AC units serviced. At Hartley's, we pride ourselves in offering outstanding service with fast response times. With proper maintenance, you can make those hot days be a lot cooler and remove those pesky allergens that always seem to find their way into your home. Call us today so you can be living a much cooler and healthier life. Hartley's, community born, community raised, community serving.
Call Hartley's Climate Control today at 573-368-3163.
Never be too coy to tell your friends and family about Koi Sushi and Hibachi. Celebrate the best Chinese-Japanese restaurant in the Midwest. Call 573-426-5551 to make a reservation or order takeout. Locally owned, 1808 North Bishop, Rolla, Missouri.
We can sum up McDonald's new crispy chicken sandwich in one word. Crispy. But also juicy and tender. Okay, it's crispy, juicy, tender. All one word. But then, also pickle. Oh, and potato bun, which is 2 words. Okay, we can't sum up our new crispy chicken sandwich in one word, so you'll just have to try it to understand it. Order ahead on the McDonald's app at participating McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Merrill's Quarry and Asphalt, 40 years serving cities, counties, and everyday businesses with driveways for people who live and work in our little piece of heaven right smack dab in the middle of America. Call 573-578-9101 for your free estimate of rocking, rolling, paving, driveways, sealing, and striping too. That's 573-578-9101 for your free estimate.
Your home is your castle. You don't need unwanted hassle. Don't let those creatures move in to stay. Let us protect your investments. That's what we're all about. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day. Plank is locally owned and family operated right here in Rolla, a Google preferred business. Our customer service and your satisfaction is our number one goal. So call Plank today at 368-3333. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
Busy schedule? Let your locally owned Price Chopper help you save time with online shopping. It's easy. Sign up to tcmarkets.com or download our mobile app in the App Store or Google Play. Create an account and browse through the categories and choose the items you need. When you place your order, your personal shopper will get all of the items you've selected, taking the same care you would and following your notes. We offer free curbside pickup, so you don't even have to get out of your car. Start your online order today and no online shopping fee for a limited time. Go to tcmarkets.com or download our mobile app to get started. Price Chopper. Fresher savings every day. A-Car Real Estate, where experience matters. 532 million sold since 2003, the number one sales volume in Phelps County. As a client for decades, I can say they are the best in mid-Missouri. Call 573-368-7355. That's 573-368-7355 for the best real estate experience you'll ever have.
Gotta reach 'em, see it right now.
Insurance going up like crazy? Daniel and Henry Insurance is one of the largest private insurance companies in the world. Richard Boyette, 314-444-5011. He's my guy at Daniel and Henry for 10 years. Business or personal, call Richard at 314-444-5011. He's the best.
At Town & Country Bank, we are committed to providing exceptional service to our customers. We do more than just provide loans for our community. We help make dreams become reality. Whether it's a new home, farm, business, or a new car, we would love the opportunity to help. Stop by one of our 2 Rolla locations and let our friendly lending team remind you how special hometown banking can be. Smart, friendly solutions. Town & Country Bank. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Back, and I think we're back with Chris Adamo. What happened, Chris?
It looks like my system just crashed. I've literally never had that happen before.
Okay.
So my apologies, or you know,
Well, you didn't do it. It's all right.
Bot sneaked in there.
I thought you were going to call me back, but that's fine. You got about 7 minutes before my next guest, and we got Hunter Biden now, who at first refused to pay taxes, and his excuse was he's high now. Now he's pleading guilty to all 9 charges. I think I know why, but do you?
I obviously drag it out for a few more months, and then Dad will pardon, and then that's the end of that.
Bingo.
I mean, it's easy to see this. The point that we need to understand: the presidential pardon was never meant to give the president the ability to give a free pass to his favorite criminal collaborators. The pardon was a means by which the public could appeal to his own interpretation of what had gone on, and he would be the final arbiter on the case. So, yeah, you can imagine that if somebody that Trump was to pardon happened to be a 16th cousin, and even if they were innocent, the fact
Right.
that, they have some relation, they visited Mar-a-Lago 20 years ago or whatever, and he pardons them. The left will harp on this as if this is a defining moment in American history.
Well, of course. And the
but
right
they're going to
would
ignore this.
Yeah, the right will do it too. But
So,
okay.
No, the difference being that
What?
when they catch us in something,
Yeah.
our side throws the person immediately to the wolves,
Right.
and says,
I
okay,
get
maybe he wasn't as guilty as they say, but he was a little bit guilty. So yeah, let them
Yeah.
have him. They don't. We expect if we do that, we're upholding a high standard, so they'll do likewise.
And
they don't have any.
Trump has a
standard
lot of pardoning to do, especially in the case of the January 6th hostages that they're holding right now in D.C. jails.
Yep.
Doesn't he?
And see, the thing that you use the
let
right
him
word there.
let him kvetch about it all day long.
Yeah. The word that you used was hostages, because
They are hostages.
we from the day that thing happened, it was obvious. We saw it. What's going on here is we got this massive, huge gathering, 1.5 million people, which that is what really had the left scared. They realized if those people actually stood their ground, if it actually was an insurrection, there was no way they were going to get them out of there.
Yeah.
Okay. But these were law-abiding Americans. They weren't going to do a thing like that.
Exactly.
And so then in the midst of them, you had these Antifa monsters, and they were identified as Antifa monsters and collaborators.
There was some planning on this. There was planning.
Just no different than the
There was a
supposed
bomb
assassination.
tied to Kamala that was supposed to go off too, and they apparently.
You mean she's not a bomb?
Decided, yeah, she's a bomb. She's a cackling bomb. Anyways, but she's not a Weinbaum. Thank God. Anyways, see how I got my name in there? Pretty good, huh? Anyhow, but that thing was a setup. It was based on basically what happened in the Reichstag in Germany. It's exactly the same thing.
Yeah,
it's incredible
actually,
what
I
they
had
did
made
with
that
that.
comparison, and I can show you commentaries that I'd written just with weeks afterwards.
February 28th, 1933. At the Reichstag.
It's a perfect example of how leftist communists, and that includes Nazis, they're the same crowd, how they take a situation, they contrive it, and then they label their enemies with it. Now, here's the problem. Hi, Lisa. Here's the problem that we have the position to stand against this, to call it out for what it is. But as you've heard me say, that within a week of election day, our side was too scared to say, hey, we just saw the election get stolen. Oh, no, you didn't. Oh, well, maybe it was possible voting irregularities. In every one of these situations, the deciding factor is whether or not we'll put up with it, or we'll try and get along and work within the system, meaning the lines that they draw for us to work within. And on that basis, they count on us ultimately backing down. And you know what? The really sad part is, so far, that's been a really safe bet for them.
Yeah, yeah. So weaponized politics, complete turnover to the FBI thugs assigned to the Democrat Party. There's so many whistleblowers against the FBI, and 30 people testifying against the FBI. Well,
Okay,
what's going to happen?
Get those 30
here?
people, put them in protective custody, because otherwise they're all going to Jeffrey Epstein themselves. And you put them in a place where they can't be touched by this leftist monster. And then when Trump gets elected, and he will get elected unless they steal the election, it's that defining. But then once he's in, those are the only people that are qualified to actually go into the FBI and determine who is and isn't a good guy.
Do you think that Donald Trump, if a judge tells him he's going to jail, is actually going to go to jail?
I have no idea what's going to happen there. I do know that they will do whatever they can. That judge has already been told you can't do that, but that doesn't stop them.
I don't know. I haven't heard that. Who told him not to do that?
Okay, maybe I'm confusing judges here, but the point being that they will do whatever we let them get away with. It's always been that way. Back when they weren't quite as far off the deep end, because where the country was, they were starting to pull it, so they didn't seem so extreme.
Yeah.
And so we sit back and say, you guys aren't playing fair. You can't do that. And oh yeah, they can. The left has always been about one thing, and that's acquiring power.
Yeah. Okay, well, last thing. Other than DaveWeinbaum.net, where can people find you and buy your book? And when's the next book coming out?
It's thank you, sir. Thank you, JP. It's still at Amazon. You just go there and put my name in or put Rules for Defeating Radicals and it'll bring it up. It's still as necessary as ever. They're playing dirtier and dirtier. And what I do in the first part of the book is tell you how to spot who they are and how they operate. And once you do that, actually defeating them becomes a lot easier. But we can't color inside the lines that they draw for us.
Chris, what do you call a strong-armed catcher?
Strong-armed catcher.
Yeah. He's a throwback. You get me more crickets than I deserve. Okay, that wasn't bad. It's a throwback. It throws back. Oh, never mind. I can't tell you. Hi, come on in. Come on in. All right. I'll see you, my friend. My next guest is here.
Keep up the great work.
All right. You too. Thanks, Chris. Bye-bye. Okay. We've got our next. This is amazing. How are you? You're
I'm
good.
fine.
Yeah, great.
Haven't seen you for a while.
No, it's been a long time. You had a good summer, and you might want to put the ears on.
Yes, sir.
So you can hear all the wonderful stuff that we're doing here. And you know my wife, Lisa, right?
Lisa and I have already said hello.
Oh, good. All right. And by the way, Chris Adamo said hello, and you weren't listening, and you just kind of ignored him. So
I'm sorry.
You didn't have your ears on. See? All right. That doesn't matter. Not a big deal. All right. My next guest is former state senator in Missouri, then state treasurer. She ran for governor and considered as the first female. Why did I say both words? Female president. Please welcome all the way from, originally Salem, Missouri, Sarah Steelman. Great to have you. And we had a big discussion about Article 3. And are you up to date on that?
I really am not. I have to admit, Lisa and I were talking about it. I know there's been some litigation over it. And I'm
well, it's somebody's hopping on this thing. And it's a Supreme Court justice decision which took the abortion issue out of the Supreme Court and out of the federal court and put it back into the states.
Yeah.
The problem is you got people really taking advantage of this, and now they're talking about kids and transgenders and all sorts of things that are in there. So you might want to when you get a chance, take a look at that. You can have that.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I think you'll.
I know there was something in one of the papers this morning about the decision.
Yeah.
That was against Ashcroft, but I'm just not sure what.
Yeah,
what was being litigated.
He was sued for ballot summary language because he wrote truthful ballot language on there, and he got sued by it. But I have scanned this. I will be posting it to your page.
Good.
So
great.
For others to look
I appreciate that. All right. So after she criticized Kamala, Tulsi Gabbard. Do you know anything about Tulsi Gabbard? What do you think of her?
I like her.
Yeah, so do I. But she was a Democrat. She was a congresswoman and soldier, 20-year soldier. But after
she's a conservative Democrat.
That's hard to even put the words together these days. I mean, how many conservative Democrats are left?
Maybe 2.
And even that question is a little bit questionable. How many of them are left? Never mind. All right. So after she criticized Kamala, she says she was designated almost immediately after this as a secret terrorist. And she was on terror watch. Every time she got on a plane, they practically searched her and her husband, and they confiscated her phone and stuff like this.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Scary.
And it's called Quiet Skies. They actually had a name for it. And this happened after Kamala.
Huh.
And you wonder why she's agreeing with Brazil on giving X an invitement to not be there anymore in Brazil. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
We're going to keep you up to date.
I have to admit, I have truly been vacationing.
That's great.
I've kept up with
how are the grandkids?
the big stuff, but not.
Does BB call you anymore?
No,
BB, she's a friend of BB Netanyahu's.
But
yeah, he's kind of busy.
That whole thing. This last week, and the immediate blaming of Bibi Netanyahu for the 6 hostages that were murdered.
Yeah,
it's beyond my comprehension.
Yeah, they're blaming him for it.
Understand.
That's Biden. Biden first came out and said, there's another point here, saying that the Palestinians have a point. Number one, and then saying Bibi is not, or Netanyahu is not doing enough. What's he supposed to do after they just murder? They came in the country and they killed more Jews in one day than if we had the comparable killings of Pearl Harbor and the
9/11.
9/11, that would be about 41,000 Jews being killed in one day. A country like that can't.
But that's been lost. Like that is not important. It seems like in the discussion that goes on today. It's just
it goes on.
mind-boggling.
You got all these schools now, anti-Semitic, back again. As I asked the rabbi earlier, I says, so what did they do in the summer? Did they take the summer off? Do the terrorists have summers off?
Somebody said they all went to Nantucket for a vacation. all the elitists.
Yeah, what was that? Did you see them on vacation?
I did not.
Were they wearing masks and waving the flags?
But I was in the hurricane in South Carolina. So.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
Ooh,
yes.
That was long.
It was
wet.
It settled. The tropical storm settled over where we were.
Yeah.
For 6
So
days.
where's David today? Is he on the golf course?
David had some appointments he had to be at.
All right. Well, he's
But
welcome to.
He may make it to the golf course yet.
Well, that's a shame. You mean you didn't golf while you were out in North Carolina?
It rained the whole darn time.
What kind of a golfer are you? A little rain? Come on.
No, this was a tropical storm.
All right. Anyways, so your thoughts on some of these people that now have crossed over? Tulsi Gabbard, as you talked about, Robert F. Kennedy. That's a big deal. And then Elon Musk, a big, flashy liberal, all of a sudden, he wants to be in the Trump administration with an idea that he's going to, as a guy who's really good at it, he's going to fix government. He's going to make sure he gets rid of waste in government.
Yeah.
And he could do it.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
It's if Trump wins and he follows through with that, I mean, it's something that's so absolutely necessary just from somebody who's been in a position of running government.
Yeah.
Like as commissioner of administration, that was my last job.
Okay.
Which is basically overseeing all the departments and figuring out ways to find efficiencies and run better. And
so you're right there.
Oh, I'm right with him.
Yeah.
It's a big job.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can identify.
And that's statewide. We're talking about basically this is not only USA, but it's all over the world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So more power to him.
Yeah.
He'll be able to identify it. It's executing on it that's going to be,
Well-
that's where the rubber meets the road.
Yeah, but if I don't know. What's your predictions for the election?
I don't know. I don't know yet.
Can you run as a person who completely changes your tune over what you said just a couple of years ago in the last administration? Can you cover all the things that went wrong during your time and blame it on Trump? I don't see that happening. I don't see how many people can understand that.
I mean, she's certainly, that's her strategy, and it's being reinforced all across the media.
Well, that I know, and that's to be expected.
But I don't know, just I'm too into politics. Like, I watch too much of it. But just the random person who doesn't really follow, that's who I worry about. Like, are they going to be sucked in by some of the stuff that she's saying?
Well, they're going to get.
That she's a female. I think that's going to help her. Among
and
females.
she's a black Jamaican, Asian black. I don't know what she is, and I don't really care. But first she comes out as a black, then she comes out as a Jamaican and an Asian and all that stuff from India. Who cares about it, really? I think
there'll be some women who care about the first female president.
Yeah, but what about the women that we talk about the Amendment 3, and let's talk about the transgender situation, because now they're going to be blocked from seeing their parents about this. The doctors that operate on them don't have to contact the parents. They don't even have to be doctors. They could be some kind of a health person, but they can't be sued for any problems with any abortions, any other procedures.
Well, I'm going to have to.
What about the women
I'm
here?
going to have to read up on that.
What about the women? What about the women that are in sports or want to be in sports and can't do it? Remember the boxing match in the Olympics where these men were beating up on women, basically. Are we going to tolerate that? Why are women tolerating that?
I don't know.
Do they know?
You're asking the wrong
Well, you're
person.
women. Why are you backing that? Come on.
All women support that, I think. But it's just one of those, again, I can't figure the public out. But I'm not sure it's most of the public. I think most of the public has some common sense and says, wait a minute.
Yeah.
This is stupid. Men shouldn't be competing against women, whatever you want to call them, men, woman, they,
Yes.
whatever. But
Yeah, you can get arrested then if you say the wrong thing. Seriously.
the world is upside down. I mean, it really is. I'm trying to just think about it because it frustrates me to see all the ridiculous stuff like this that we're dealing with when we have such significant issues.
Yeah. And not the least of which is the border.
Border, the economic plans that now both
they want to give you
have come out with.
20,000 or 25,000 for a new house, and then when it goes up in value, they're going to tax it. They're going to take it all away. Plus, it's crazy.
The one that really gets me is this proposal from Kamala to tax unrealized capital gains. Oh my gosh!
Yeah, there goes the stock market.
Exactly. Why?
That's it.
What?
We're done.
What is? This is like
No,
I look at her and I think
she is
surely
an idiot.
To God, she
I'm
can't
sorry.
be that stupid.
She is that stupid. Okay, and quite frankly, so is Joe Biden.
Yeah,
he's really stupid.
I think they are. I think they're and the price gouging stuff. The states have had that authority for decades.
Yeah, and it doesn't work.
It's only used in emergency situation.
Yeah.
You got to prove it. You got to go to court.
It doesn't work.
And all that. What is she going to propose? I mean,
this is strictly
it's absolutely frightening to capitalism what she has proposed.
How about Tampon Tim? I mean, oh my God. What a nut. And his military problem. and his family is all against him. Okay, apparently he's got like 15 family members who are from Oklahoma, I think, and they're all against him. Wow. I know Trump had a little bit of a problem like that, but not much.
Well, RFK has that problem.
Well, now he's got it. That's for sure.
I mean, that's it.
And RFK, he wants to get in there and become some kind of a maybe the head of the CIA, so he can uncover what happened to his father and what happened to his uncle.
Well, I think he should be the to make America healthy again.
Yeah,
I'm
fine.
on his bandwagon on that. Because, and so FDA or something like that, I think would be, if he could make it through the Senate, depending on if the Senate is Democratic.
Yeah. He'll
never get
it.
confirmed.
Right.
Isn't that an irony? Kennedy could not.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand this hatred towards him. He's
a traitor to them.
He's very interesting. He's got a great curiosity.
I agree.
He's got a good brain.
Yeah.
He's been involved in lawsuits and all this stuff.
He is liberal as hell, but
on some things.
But
some things he's not.
No.
Some things he's just.
No, he's a worthy person who's shown his worthiness, especially on the vaccine problems that this country has had and the pandemic. And standing up for the rights of people not to have to take it.
Right.
So and standing up, that's an essential right that we seem that's gone missing here. So he should be good at that. And but I'll tell you what, I'm feeling like just maybe this is too obvious for the Americans to pass up. They're suffering right now. America is in a deep suffering period. And you got to figure they can put two and two together. Even the dumbest of us know that Donald Trump was the president. We know what it was like under Donald Trump. And yeah, we had the pandemic, but you know what? He did everything he could, America first. He kept us out of wars. He kept us out of stupid wars. He sowed the peace in the Middle East.
Yeah.
He kept his hand in.
He strangled Iran.
North Korea. He actually was on talking terms with that guy. I consider that a good thing. And Putin.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to have conversation. It's good for them to know,
right,
that if they screw up, there's going to be a huge problem for them.
Yeah.
Or a huge tariff like he had on China and on Iran. So
I mean, if you think in terms like that, if people can just get that message.
They're still going to get a lot of Democrats who are loyal Democrats, but I don't think they're going to get I don't think they're going to get the enthusiasm they had for other Democrats. And I still say that now there's proof. There's a lot of proof that the 2020 election was stolen, that Donald Trump actually won that thing, and I believe it. Georgia's reversing itself now. Georgia. They're coming out and saying, Kemp is telling, what's his name? Rudolph, the Red-Nosed Reindeer, whatever his name is, the Secretary of State, that he's got to straighten out his elections because what he did was fraudulent in the election. So what does that mean? And it means also that Fannie Willis was probably part of this, the prosecutor there.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways,
yeah.
Your thoughts on that? I mean, do you think there's enough evidence now that they have?
I haven't looked.
The problem is it takes a couple years to gather this kind of evidence, and the elections are fast, and then when they hit, you can't do anything about them. But they better do something about it in preparation for this election, and I think the Republicans are, and I think they're They've got their eyes out. They got 500 lawyers out there. They got 100,000 people going to be working in the units. By the way, I've got Jeff Zink coming on next, and I think he's a huge guy in that theater because he invented the audit that for elections, the forensic audit for elections. He knows it's stolen. He knows 2022 and 2020 was stolen in Arizona for sure. He knows it, and nobody's suing him. So, anyways, so
I was going to say something else, though.
Go ahead.
But now it's flown to my head.
Good, you're not the only one.
Yeah.
Thank God.
I don't know. I worry about. I just worry that people. It's easy here in the Midwest to kind of get the Trump. Everything's.
Right.
People have good common sense, and you look around, you talk to people, and it's like, what? Everybody agrees with each other. But I worry about the areas in some of those really.
Well, you're getting a lot of people in common areas that would be Democrat. You're getting a lot of blacks understanding what's going on. They're getting their jobs lost. They have no police protection per se.
Yeah.
They want police protection.
Yeah.
Like anyone else. They don't want their kids dying.
As long as they, I think they recognize that, but
Well,
then they've continued to vote for the Democratic mayors that control their cities, and so you got to wonder, like, wait a minute. Let's try something different.
They started to boot some of these people, like Kerry Bush, and the other guy who was the school teacher.
Oh yeah,
progressive. I forget. Yeah, out of New York. They kicked him out, and it was substantial.
Yeah. That's true.
So there is some hope, I believe, and I think there's hope in a lot of different places, like Georgia.
Of course, a lot of that was the Jewish influence in St. Louis.
Yeah,
well, both places.
Yeah, in fact, Kerry Bush has joined the leaders to eliminate Jews. Here I am. Can you imagine this? I'm a Jew out of Rolla, Missouri, doing this. It's a great place. You're right about this. The people are nice. They're not all, they all want to attack, and they love to attack me on my politics. And sometimes my wife does too, by the way. And I love the arguments. I love to argue with them. And most of them have conceded what I've said to them in the past, from the pandemic.
Even Lisa?
She'll nail me. You're wrong. What are you talking about? Are you kidding me? She's a wife.
I have a question for you.
I'm a person with a brain.
See the implication is. Yeah. In fact, I'm going to tell you the joke I had for her.
Move on to your next subject.
That's it.
The most important thing me and Lisa hit it off. When we hit it off so well, the first thing we did was we exchanged therapist phone numbers. Yeah, okay. Now I don't have to do a joke for her. That's it, right? No, see, it's really funny.
No, I got a question.
We both got problems. Yes, ma'am.
So this morning they charged that gentleman, that father.
Yes.
With murder.
Yeah.
And manslaughter. The parent of the 14-year-old.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that? I mean, I look at that and I think, I don't know.
Well,
it's very.
They also put something on that a year ago when the kid was 13 and threatening to do this. They went to the father, and the father was very, helpful and said, I don't know, geez, I'm telling him, I'm talking to him, I'm trying to get him fixed up. What does he do next? He buys him an AR-15.
I saw that.
He buys an AR-15. So he knew about it, The sheriff went out and talked to him. It was on tape. I heard the tape. I said, I think it's a good idea if that's the case. And the kid was talking about shooting up people at 13, and the father then goes out and buys him a rifle to be able to do it. I think it's a good charge, and I think it's going to have a lot of parents saying, I better, watch this kid.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Now, the other thing they should be doing, which I've been talking about for years and years and years, and it's something they do in Israel, is they have teachers who are armed, teachers who have a place to go to get an arm.
I thought I heard that they were armed in Georgia, or could be. Then maybe that was.
Well,
wrong.
I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that. But also, I would like to see some police offices attached to high schools, and maybe even colleges. So that could be a deterrent, at least.
Isn't that a sad state of affairs, though?
Okay, you want that? Do you want a Second Amendment? Do you want to give the government all your guns?
No,
because that's what they want.
But I think there's a deeper problem here. But
yeah, we have a Second Amendment.
No, a deeper problem that a 14-year-old kid goes in and shoots up people. What is causing this frequent school shootings? I mean,
I'm not a psychiatrist, but I assume it's some kind of a hatred of being picked on and tortured and stuff like that.
There's a spiritual crisis.
Spiritual crisis,
definitely.
And it's parental guidance. I mean, you have to do things that let your kids know the difference between right and wrong.
Well, that's true.
You got that responsibility. I got that responsibility, and you've got to be able to show what you've done. If you haven't done anything, or you buy him a gun, and he's talked about this, then you got a problem, I think.
It's all just troubling,
Of course it is.
It's just very troubling.
Life is troubling. That's what I've discovered. Life is troubling, and I pray a lot more than I did when I was younger. That's for sure. And I believe God's helping me do this show right now.
You have a couple of
let's get some comments.
And a joke from Mr. Lockwood.
Richard C. Lockwood. He's Dave. I'm addicted to brake fluid, but it's okay because I can stop at any time. Copycat. Mine was better. Christopher Ronzi, I call him the Godfather. Good morning, Dave. Mrs. Lisa, you're looking lovely today. Great show again. Keep up the great work. Thank you. Do I have to read all this? The Democrats are trying to run the campaign as if she was a celebrity, not as a candidate. That's true.
Yes.
They feel that is how President Trump won his presidential campaign the first time. So Obama is behind this, the puppet master of the campaign. So now they flip the issues that President Trump came up with and established. The idea of this is to go to the only debate and debate yourself with the issues that you have come up with. You wouldn't think that one single man could screw up. I hope it's screw up. I guess it's screw up. One single man could mean a lot of things. That's wrong.
It cuts it off over here, but over here on Facebook, I'm trying to find where that left off at.
Okay, let's not spend a lot of time on that. All right. So,
I'm having trouble finding it here.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Forget about it. Okay, so
I think that's true. They are making her into.
Now, I'm going to have my next guest on in about 2 minutes. You're welcome to stay because this guy can mean the difference between us winning, Trump winning, and Arizona. He's running for Maricopa County, and he's also tied in on the 1-6 situation. I just sent him a nice contribution, and he's I think he's the secret, right? The most important guy, one of the most important guys in America, because he's going to be able to fix maybe Arizona. And there he is, right there.
Go for it.
All right.
I may have to dash out here. In
You're
a few
fine.
minutes.
You're fine. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, my next guest is here, and my last guest may be going or may be staying, which is fine. Either way. He's a kinesiologist. Boy, do I like saying that. Primary victor in Maricopa County for his primary for the U.S. House. Forensic election audit expert. Please welcome all the way from the headquarters of the Republican Party there in Phoenix, Jeff Zink. Jeff, I have a great lady there. I'm with my wife Lisa, and
Hi, Jeff.
And her name is Sarah Steelman, and she's been the Secretary of the Treasury here in the state of Missouri. She ran for governor. She was a state rep, actually a senator, right? Yeah. So she's in the know, and was actually considered to be a candidate for president at one time. This is Jeff Zink.
Hi, Jeff Zink.
And
hi, Sarah.
Nice to meet you.
Okay.
Nice to meet you as well.
So, and we have your little Think Zink T-shirt. So
yeah, I'm going to have to get y'all my updated version, my new one.
Yeah.
That we've come out with. I've got to get that to y'all.
All right.
So tell JP to send me the sizes so I can send y'all out all the shirts.
Okay, appreciate it. Tell us about the what you're doing now after winning the primary, and how big was the victory in the primary?
My victory in the primary, I won 66% of the votes.
Okay,
so,
that's a good kickoff right there.
Yeah, it really is. It's a lot of hard work. Over the last 3 years campaigning, people recognize my name now. They like the Think Zink logo with the cowboy hat and everything.
Yeah.
Of course, that's one of the reasons why I always wear it, because it is name recognition. And one of the things I was going to show you, Dave, is this right here. This is the official 24 Republican ballot. This is the golden ticket. And in the federal, if you can see right there, it has my name as the congressman, the pick.
You're right down there below Donald Trump.
We have Donald J. Trump. We have Kerry Lake. We have Jeff Zink in the federal races here.
Cool.
In my congressional district.
Yeah.
So this is going out to everybody in my district. All the 6 LDs all had the golden ticket. So the only difference is the state portion of it and the county. They'll have different aspects from that for people that are running their LDs. So LD 11 has 2 people that are running for state, and then we have House, and then we have the one person, Josh Alaya, that's running for state senate for LD 11.
Tell us about Kerry Lake and Gallegos. What is it, Gallegos or what?
It's Gallegos.
Gallegos, yeah.
Yeah. So Ruben jumped ship. He ran once against me.
Right.
Couldn't take it a second at a time, so he decided to leave and run for Senate. And he thinks he's got a better chance of staying in Washington D.C. by beating Kerry Lake, which is going to be a very tall order. She is out, campaigning and doing things. She's going to be this weekend with several other people in New Mexico and stuff. I was invited, but, I just think that it's important that I stay here in my own congressional district, and I talk to the people that I'm going to be representing and who are going to be voting for me. So we're going to be taking these
Well,
golden
do
tickets.
you talk to Carrie at all? Do you tell her these things? And do you plan stuff, for example, different things with her or without her or what?
I've been planning them without her, but as of Wednesday, I received a phone call from her campaign stating that they wanted to work with me on events. So we've got about 3 or 4 events that are now going to be taking place, and we're going to see if she'll, be a part of it. I'd like to have her a part of it. She does bring a lot of people with her when she shows up to events. So that's one of the things I like, but one of the things that I've also had, Turning Point actually has reached out to me. We're going to be having some.
That's Charlie Kirk, right? Is that Charlie Kirk?
With Charlie Kirk.
Yeah. Okay.
And so that's something that's new. I haven't had Turning Point really working with me or anything else, and so now they're coming in and they're trying to put on a couple of events. So it's really nice. And then Latinos for America First has reached out to me, and they basically are going to. In fact, we're going to be meeting with their staff today, this afternoon, or this evening. And in that meeting, what we're going to try to do is they have about 4,000 paid positions that they're going to pay people. Now, the catch is you have to be Spanish speaking to get that position. They want to go to the Latino population, and they want to convert them from Democrat to Republican. They want to meet them where they're at in their own language, and they want to convince them that the Democratic Party, they didn't leave the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party left them.
Yeah.
And show them the difference between what's going on now. But what's really interesting is that one of the things that's happened for the last 4 years, I've been walking my neighborhoods and I've been in my congressional district for 4 years, 2,400 Democrats that were flipped in my last election. I've got 1,400 this year alone that I've flipped from Democrat to Republican. And the thing is that when the DNC came out and was giving free abortions and vasectomies during their conference, it really ticked off the Latino people. And now we have a lot of them that are now actually leaving the Democratic Party. But here's what's really interesting, and I don't know if I told you this last time, but in 2020, I was in a plus 55 Democratic stronghold. Now, I've been walking all by myself, and I've only recently, just this week, had all of these people reaching out going, hey, you know what? You actually, your district's in play. You actually could win this. We want to help you and stuff. And that's happened this week. Well, I'm the only person that's been doing that. And it went from a plus 55 Democratic stronghold to a plus 24. And then and that came out 2 weeks ago. And now what's happening is that the numbers are saying that it's more like plus 15 or plus 10. And if it's that low, then obviously now you know why everybody's starting to reach out to me. They're trying to figure out what's going on, because I'm that unknown factor that nobody counted on. And you and I both know that 4 years ago, God healed me.
Yeah.
God put me on this path, and he said that I was going to go to Washington to represent his people. Well, guess what? Everything's starting to line up. Everything's starting to look into my favor. And this is just coincidence, isn't it? It's
and that's why I think you're one of the most important people right now in the country. Because as you go, as Arizona goes, and all these other states that have done these audits, like Georgia, like Wisconsin, they are also in your influence. That's why I say.
Correct.
That's why I say you're the most important guy possibly in this election, all over the world, maybe. So I'm trying to put you up on a pedestal, but I think that's true. Now wait a minute. Hold on a minute. Would you like to say anything to Jeff?
Sounds like he's doing all the right stuff.
Yeah, see, she's from
That
an expert politician.
Going door to door, walking and talking
Yeah.
to people it does make a difference. People like to see and hear and have a conversation with, not just the stuff that Kamala Harris does, no interview. I mean,
Yeah.
you'll go and you'll talk to him.
You don't want to hear somebody cackle. do
It's
you?
much better than a poll.
Yeah.
Oh,
When you're
absolutely.
hearing
Well,
what
and the thing
what's on
is that
people's
everybody
minds.
has been telling me before, well, we've looked at the polls and you can't win, so we're not going to help.
Yeah.
I've got people, my donors, my constituents here are, the Bidenomics has hit them so hard that I have the conversation with a lot of the Latino men, and they say, look, I've got $25, Jeff. I can put this $25 in my gas tank so I can get to work and make more money.
Yeah.
Or I can put this $25 on the table and feed my family, or I can give it to you. Who do you think wins in that scenario? It's sure not me, because they don't have the money. They have more month than money, and they're working 2 and 3 jobs. They're so busy, and they appreciate the fact that I come in, knock on their door, hand them something just like this, and says, and then I also have my flyer that goes through, and it shows them. And by the time I go through that, I look at them and I go, you know what? You agree more with me than you do the Democratic Party. Why don't we change that? How can you continue? How can you continue supporting a party of death? They want to kill children. They want to transgender them. They want them to make decisions that will change their life forever and not be ever always be scarred. They want to indoctrinate your children instead of educating them, and what we want to do is we want to make sure that they get the best education they can. Let's fund the police. Let's get people in there. Let's protect our most valuable possession. See, the thing that a lot of people don't understand is, and what I recognize, oil and gas is not valuable. Gold is not valuable. Nothing else is valuable. There's 2 things in this world that are valuable. And when you go to Proverbs, you're gonna learn that children are a gift from God, and that your wife, a good wife, is more valuable than all the gold and silver and precious jewels there. And so those 2 things, if we start lifting up our women and our women supporting the men, and not worry about the male toxicity, because when you, by the way, Dave, if you look that word up in the dictionary, my picture's right beside it. So.
No, my wife just stuck me with a pen or something. I don't know.
That was my finger.
Ow.
That was my finger.
No, that's not right. Wait a minute. Anyways, you know what? I've had so many. I've been out pastoring
I agree with
today.
Jeff. I agree with Jeff.
I've got a minister here. I had Pastor Pat here with another pastor, and they were talking about Amendment 3. I've been out pastured once again.
It's better than being put out to pasture.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, anyways, so sounds like you're on a roll, which I think is going to happen.
It really is something, Dave, that I think, and the thing is that if I got arrogant and I said this was all me, God came to me when I was supposed to be dead. And when he broke my headaches, he restored my health. I think I sent you my commercial, correct? That I had made recently.
I think so, yeah.
Okay. And so one of the things that that lays out is an introduction of exactly what happened with me in my life and why I'm running. And now what I'm going to do is we're going to start doing these same things. But here's the thing. and this is full transparency. How many? Politicians are constantly asking for money, and I understand that. How many of them tell you up front what it's for? So I've had all of these people that's reached out to me, and they've said, "Hey, we want to reach out and we want to help you, but we also want you to start raising some more money." Well, I raised well over $25,000, and the Democratic Party had a gentleman that was a Democrat change parties and primary me. And so it absorbed all the money having to win the primary. Now I'm sitting here and I'm going, okay, people, I've got $1.5 million I'm going against, and I have no money. Now I need help. And so these people have reached out and they said, hey, you need to raise 125. This is all you need, 125,000 to 250, somewhere in there. And all we want you to do is we want you to advertise on Telemundo, Univision, and all of the Spanish-speaking stations here in Phoenix. And it's going to cost that much, but we want you to be blasting your commercials out. And it really helped, because when they saw that commercial explaining my life and what I'm doing, and then they want me to also start putting together things like what's going on at the border, because Yasmin, she was the second vice mayor of Phoenix.
No, wait a minute. Who is she? Is that your opponent?
That's my opponent.
Okay, Jasmine.
So she was in charge when we had Black Lives Matter and Antifa come down to start trying to cause problems. The problem that they had here in Phoenix is when the people found out, they showed up with all of their guns. Remember, this is an open carry. This is concealed carry, and you don't have to have a permit. You just have to be a law-abiding citizen. And so because of that, they all showed up. Well, they saw all these guns and they went, okay, we're out of here. You can't pay us enough money. And so we supported the police and they left. She was allowing that. She was all for bailing out people that was causing problems to put them back on the street. She was in charge when they closed down our churches and our businesses. And then she was in charge when they wouldn't reopen. When they said we could reopen, she was trying to keep it closed. And then she was all for trying to keep people on government money. And she's all for all of these socialist ideas. So because we already have a track record, we now need to show that we don't need that ideology, which is what Kamala Harris, all she's going to be is a yes person for Kamala Harris. We don't need that. And we don't need her in there for when Trump gets in, because he's going to be the duly elected president. Well, she would be one of the quad, because remember, only 2 out of the 4 of the quad members made it through. And so they're going to.
I call them the squids.
The squid. Well, yeah. And so, Yasmin would be the person that would replace one of them. And here's the other thing. A lot of people don't know this, but she worked underneath Nancy Pelosi, and she was one of the co-authors of the Paris Climate Accord agreement and the climate change stuff. So she's all for the Green New Steel. She wants to stop drilling and do away with gas cars.
Electrical cars and all that crap. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's just not going to work. And she's all supported by all of the union labor people. But this is a right to work state.
Yeah.
So, we have laws in place. We don't need the unions now like we did at the beginning when we didn't have the states and the federal oversight that are watching these companies to make sure that they protect their employees the way they did back in the 40s, 50s and stuff, where they needed unions to actually fight for these rights. Well, we don't need that now. And so that, and the thing is that these unions, they force people to join. they force them to pay to pay their dues,
Yeah.
and then those dues support Democrats.
Yeah. So what you've shown us is a lesson of life. Is that even if you don't, if you feel like you're right, and if you don't show results right away, do you quit or do you keep going? If you think you're right, and
you keep
and
going.
that is a huge lesson in life for our kids, for me, for you, for people in this room, and my wife especially. Is you just keep going, and you keep asking God for help, and and generally, you know, if you feel like He's going to help you, and I feel that, and I'm sure you do too now, especially, then despite what, if you have a bad day or a bad loss or something like that, you can recover. You can come back the next day and do good. Go ahead.
So I wanted to bring something up, Jeff, because I thought you would, really, really like this. I was listening to Dan Bongino on Wednesday on our local station, and somebody called in from Arizona. And you can probably go back and find this in the archive. And he said, we have got to ensure, and he was asking basically Dan Bongino for his help, we have to ensure that Kerry Lake wins this Senate race because Ruben Gallegos is a rhino, he's this, that, and just completely lambasted Ruben. And at first, it didn't hit me at first. I thought, why have I heard that name? And I went, because Jeff's been saying the same stuff about this guy for years now on the show. And it was just consistent again, somebody else, a random caller from Arizona saying the exact same thing about Ruben.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. And the thing is that what's funny is that there's a commercial right now of a sheriff driving around thanking Ruben for all of the help that he has been instrumental in protecting the border, and have him driving, the border with, and it's Trump's wall. The thing that gets me, it's like Kamala. She's got a picture of Trump's wall, claiming that she's the one who built it, that she's the one who's behind all of this, and they're taking credit for things that they did not do. I can tell you 100% factual that Ruben had absolutely nothing to do with the border wall. He was never down there except for to make that commercial, and that was it. That's the only time he's seen the wall in the 10 years he's been a congressman here in my district.
Yeah.
On the Dan Bongino, the same day on another segment, he was talking. He revealed a clip that it was a Democrat senator or somebody that's high up within the Democrat Party. They were making a point how Trump was the one that actually made these policies about no tax on tips. He was the first one out and all this stuff, and now they're just basically borrowing it and saying, "Oh, we're going to make it ours." And he said, "What do you say about that?" He goes, "Well, when it's a good idea, it's a good idea." They're like, "Oh, so you're saying Trump had a good idea?" Well, no, I didn't say that. Well, that's exactly what they said.
Yeah, and I don't know how they get it. They're not going to get away with that. I mean, maybe some people are going to believe it, but I mean, I think the majority of people who have been hurt by what's going on over the last 3.5 years are going to say, you know what, this is BS. It's time for a change. We know it.
Well, and
we
here's
feel
the
it.
thing that I tell people is this: if Trump was so bad and was going to do all of these bad things that the Democrats are literally claiming that he's going to do, he would have done it in his first term.
Right.
The other is that all of these things that the Democrats are saying that on day one that they're going to do, and all of these good things, well, they're in charge. Day one for them was 3.5 years ago. If they wanted to do it, they would have done it back then.
Sure.
And they wouldn't start now.
Yeah, well, why aren't they doing it now? They're still in power. Why aren't they, start building the wall? Start doing, start up the Anwar thing in Alaska, where they have tons of oil, more than Saudi Arabia. All right, get the Keystone thing back. Get the Keystone area back pumping. How about Pennsylvania?
don't forget, just 2-3 months ago, this summer, they were saying how great of President Joe Biden was.
Right.
How great the economy was. What's Kamala running on now? To fix the economy. Well, if it's great, why does it need to be fixed?
Yeah.
They can't.
Right.
They don't have anything to stand on. They can't even stand on their platform because they literally don't have anything. They've already negated their very platform.
No, I think I'm seeing the momentum change. And the biggest thing right now is the cheating. How do you stop the cheating?
Well, you make it too big to rig, and which is what we're doing. We're getting the people out, the low propensity people that normally don't vote. They're registered to vote. We had 270,000 in Maricopa County Christians that did not vote in 2022.
What
Had
stopped
they
them?
come out and voted their faith, every election would not be the results that we have today. Every election would have been for the Republican Party had they voted their faith. And here's the thing. On Thursday, I was at a church in Mesa with J.D. Vance.
Yeah.
And listened to J.D. Vance and what's taking place. And, you know, what's really interesting is it's the same thing that I have been talking about all along, which is the problem that we have today lies at the pulpit. It's the pastors that did not and have failed to train their congregation up.
Wait a minute. I think I listened to this. And I was commenting on you as I listened to it. And I was wondering if you were there. I didn't know for sure. But no, and he was talking about the preachers telling him, well, it's just a political issue, right? It's politics. We don't mix religion with politics.
Exactly. Well, and that's one of the things that I'm your worst nightmare. You know, the two things you never bring up at a family reunion, politics and religion, and I'm both. Yeah. And so, you know, the thing is that we have to start setting down because people always tell me, well, I'm not interested in politics. And I keep telling them, well, here's a good thing that you need to know. Politics is very interested in you. You pay taxes. That's political. You have your church shut down. That's political. You have your businesses shut down and altered. You're forced to take a vaccine. All of this is political.
Sure.
If you don't become political, then people will make decisions on your behalf, and it normally will go against you.
You know, it's sort of like one goes after the other. If you don't have the right politics, you're not going to be allowed to worship the way you want to.
Exactly.
Right? So,
well, Joseph Stalin says that those that cast votes mean nothing, but those that count vote mean everything.
yeah. You know, you better watch those counters. All right. Other than DaveWeinbaum.net, where can people find and contribute?
Go to thinkzink.vote. And go to my website. There's a donation page right there, the button that you can hit and donate. The maximum now, because we're already past the primary, the general election is $3,300 is the most you can donate now. But the thing is that I also have a PAC, We the People AZ Alliance, that if somebody wants to donate the $100,000 or $250,000, it can go to that. And they will make sure that 100% of that money goes to my campaign to help with the commercials, to pay for the spaces, to get information out to my constituents. And then I become the next Republican. And the thing is that here's what also is going to happen. It will make history because a Republican has never, ever sat in that seat. I will be the very first Republican ever to sit in that seat.
And you're going to have me down there for your swearing in. All right. Now, what kind of surgery do politicians get?
A lobotomy.
Some of them need it, but no, that's better than a joke, probably. No, it's elective surgery. Elective. Oh, my God. You had a better line than I did. All right.
I did.
Okay, my friend.
All right, I appreciate you. Thank you, Dave.
We're almost out of time. Thank you so much. Hi to everybody. Hi to the wife, and get them going. Get Carrie back in line. All right, and let's do this. Let's do this.
All right, you bet.
All right, thanks.
All right, thank
Bye.
you.
Okay, nice job. All right, well, pretty good show. And we had a lot of people here, and we managed it, right? Didn't we? We had some things go wrong. We had some things go right. This is live. It's a live show. I'm not cutting anything out, and I'm very happy with the way the show went. Thank you. Oh, I forgot to thank Rick Camino, who is also a good friend of Rick Henderson's, who gives us all the clips. He makes all the clips and stuff like that. So nobody reminded me. Thank you very much. But
You're welcome.
all right,
You're
we
welcome.
are. Yes, thank you very much.
Make sure and give credit to Rick, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
We're here to support you, dear.
Yeah, okay, listen, it's got 20. Now you're going to start talking. There's 20 seconds left in the show. So I have to end it. I have to end this, all right? Don't remind me of anything I need to try on. Okay, this is great. Please end it, please end it. I'll be back with another edition of the Dave Weinbaum Show next Friday. Thank you for listening.